Hey mates, just Matt jumping in here to let you know that I'm coming to the UK for a tour this September 2025. I'm coming to Edinburgh, Cambridge. It's our first ever show there. Birmingham, Manchester, Swansea, first ever Wales show, and London. I'm going to be doing my show Bad Boy, as well as a live Who Knew It with Matt Stewart in each of those places. Cannot wait. So pumped up. And also, while I've got you, our recent 500th episode, which we recorded live at the Capitol Theatre, that is now available to watch on our YouTube channel. So just head over to our YouTube channel, Do Go On Pod, and check out all 3 episodes there. A whole lot of fun. And yes, grab tickets to Bad Boy and Who Knew It in the UK at mattstewartcomedy.com. Anyway, let's get on with the show.
BetterHelp Online Therapy bought this 30-second ad to remind you right now, wherever you are, to unclench your jaw, relax your shoulders, take a deep breath in and out. Feels better, right? That's 15 seconds of self-care. Imagine what you could do with more. Visit betterhelp.com/randompodcast for 10% off your first month of therapy. No pressure, just help. But for now, just relax.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform designed to help you stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out or scaling your business, Squarespace gives you everything you need to claim your domain, showcase your offerings with a professional website, grow your brand, and get paid. All in one place.
Man, I'm loving all of that. With Squarespace's collection of cutting-edge design tools, anyone can build a bespoke online presence that perfectly fits their brand or business. Start with Blueprint AI, Squarespace's AI-enhanced website builder, to get a fully custom website in just a few steps. Using basic information about your industry goals and personality to generate premium quality content and personalized design recommendations. Squarespace also offers a complete library of professionally designed and award-winning website templates with options for every use and category. It's easy and intuitive. No experience required, which is good because I have none.
Neither do I. I also love that Squarespace gives you everything you need to offer services and get paid all in one place. From consultations to events and experiences, showcase your offerings with a customizable website designed to attract clients and grow your business. Get paid on time with professional on-brand invoices and online payments. They just make it easy.
That's right. So head to squarespace.com/dogoon for a free trial and to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Go On. My name is Dave Warnicky, and as always, I'm here with Jess Perkins and Matt Stewart.
Hello.
Hello, it's so good to be here. I love podding and I love life and I love you too. How good is it to be alive?
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good.
Yep.
Oh my God. Well, I think I've overcommitted to this.
I've got to come out on top here and say that I have a sore tongue. I was telling Jess before that I bit my tongue whilst eating a sausage a couple of days ago. And I've got to say this because I think it has genuinely affected my voice. Some words I'm having trouble saying because I bit my own tongue. It's so stupid.
Several days ago, Matt.
Yeah, 3 days ago, actually.
Wow, a 3-day tongue injury.
It was bleeding a lot. I really committed to biting my tongue.
Is this a cover story, Dave? Have you been doing something else with your tongue you don't want to go public with?
Yes.
We
asked not to. Honestly, we came up with this story. We spent an hour brainstorming. We said, just say you were eating a sausage.
Which
is hard to say.
I come to work to escape this kind of shit. The other day, we were hanging some new art above the couch.
It feels like an Aiden thing, yeah.
He stepped off the couch and sort of like just landed a bit funny on his knee because we're in our mid-30s now. And then later in the day, I took his phone off him for punishment. No, I jokingly took his phone off him and I saw that he was Googling torn meniscus. And I was like, no, you haven't torn your meniscus. You have stepped down off a surface.
You better believe I've been Googling, why did I bite my tongue?
Why?
Well, and
Why
most
do
of
I
the people
do
are
it?
like, "You're eating too quick," and I'm like, "I've never eaten too quick."
Next option.
Yeah, what else is there?
So yeah, I was hoping to come to work and chat to people who don't just randomly injure themselves while doing things around the house. But
I did tear my meningus, but that wasn't around the house. That was around Vegas. So
Hey, but what happens
your
in Vegas?
meningus, you tore your meningus.
I tore my malmeninga.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dave, what are we doing? What is this show? What's happening?
All right, get the guy with the injured tongue to explain it. Okay, I get it. What we do
The
here?
injured tongue.
It is injured.
It's so pathetic.
It's insured for $1 million. This thing.
That's your tonsils.
Yeah, that's
we
true.
did not insure your tongue,
couldn't
and that
afford
was an
that.
oversight, and we should look into that.
What we do here is we take it in turns to report on a topic often suggested to us by one of the listeners. We go away, do a bit of research, then bring it back to the group in the form of a report. Jess, it is your turn to report. And we always start with a question,
Yeah.
which I know you wrote only seconds ago.
And I said it was a convoluted question too, which have become my favourite kind.
Yeah, so how many is a two-parter?
It's a two-parter.
three-parter?
It's a two-parter.
Okay, I love this.
Because I'm not sure that you would have heard of the topic, so I'm just helping you get there one word at a time, basically.
I actually really enjoy this.
So, two-part question. What is a slang term for fancy, expensive jewellery and accessories?
Bling.
Correct. I heard Dave first.
Sorry, that was just my buzzer.
All right, Matt, you can go first on this one, though. Okay, sorry, that was just Dave's buzzer.
The Bling Ring.
It is a bling ring.
Oh! I've heard of this. I've seen a movie.
You've seen the movie?
Yeah, Sophia Coppola.
It wasn't a great movie.
Yeah, honestly, it wasn't.
I've watched maybe half of it.
Yeah.
Before this, and went, oh, I'm bored of this.
I think it was a plane.
Yeah,
plane
it's a great
movie.
plane movie. Do you want to hear the second part of my question anyway?
Yeah.
And give an example of a type of jewelry that could be considered bling. And then you could have just listed jewelry.
Necklace.
Yep.
Necklace.
that's-
Anklet.
Yeah, anklet could be bling.
Oh, sorry,
O-ring.
I forgot to buzz in. Bling. I'm going to say brooch.
Oh, I'm not sure if I've ever seen brooches be
A
worn.
bedazzled brooch.
Oh, then yeah.
Yeah, it would have to be a pretty big brooch.
It'd be a big and diamond encrusted brooch for sure.
I know the name of this and maybe the vaguest description of the story, but I don't know any of the details. It's like rich kids stealing stuff. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
vaguely right?
A bunch of teenagers who went on a real crime spree of celebrity homes.
Yeah, cool. Like it's because I think I watched the movie because I thought, well, that sounds cool.
Yeah. And did you think in watching the movie, you at the end you were like, yeah, that was really cool.
And I was a bit like, well, I guess I'm 90 minutes closer to my destination now. Again,
Was your destination when you're on the plane, or are you talking about death?
honestly, it works for both.
Well, I'm 90 minutes closer to death, so that's good.
Yeah.
Do you think that's my vibe? Well, good night, everybody. That's one day closer to death.
You're just scratching X's into the wall every day. Another one done.
Whew. You know what? Sometimes in video games, particularly in these like cozy games where, let's say you've planted some crops and they're going to take 3 days to grow,
And you're a rabbit.
and you're a rabbit and you're running a B&B. Sometimes I'll sort of get to the end, like there's more hours in the day in the game that I could play, but I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go to bed and reset to a new day. Sometimes I feel like that in my real life where I'm like, well,
I'm so bored. I'll just go to bed now.
100%. There's some nights where I'm like, I probably have time to watch a movie or something. I can't be bothered. I'll just go to bed. And I think of it like a reset. Is that sad? I'm like wasting time just going to bed.
But do you wake up feeling great and then it's worth it the next day? You're like, well, I had a 14-hour sleep. I feel amazing.
Nah,
Or you're like, well, 14 hours closer to the end.
I need to get some hobbies. Okay. That's for me and my therapist to work through. Thanks for just gauging that with me. From your reactions, that's not normal.
Does your therapist suggest hobbies?
Yeah, she keeps trying.
What about archery?
She's like,
Shut up.
She's like, go for a walk, please.
Oh, Jess, is this an idea for a cozy game? There's like a bandicoot who's a therapist, and she suggests hobbies, and they're your tasks to do. She suggests different hobbies, something like that.
Would you do that? Would you play that?
Fuck yeah. That sounds great. You got to complete all your little tasks for your mental health.
Like, oh, it's ice skating tonight.
That's so fun. And then because you sort of like, oh, I don't want to go ice skating, but you go
Yeah.
ice skating and you meet some nice people.
You meet the local town dentist, you marry them.
Oh, you can marry the dentist! Matt, can you marry the dentist in your game?
Yeah, you can marry the dentist.
And then he
It's an
moves
open
into your
world sort
house?
of thing.
Yes! Yes! I'm in. God, you guys are good at coming up with games I'd
I
play.
think we should just make the games instead of doing a podcast.
I think so.
Yeah.
That'd be hits.
Maybe let's call Atari, see if they're interested.
Atari.
So, yes, today I'll tell the story of the Bling Ring. It's been suggested by a couple of people. I thought it would be from more, to be honest, but it's been suggested by Sarah from London and Peter Pritchard from Wales. And it's sort of been on a little list of mine for a while because I think I'd probably read a bit of the Wikipedia page many years ago and went, there's something kind of interesting to that. And then I've revisited this time. And it is it's an interesting story from a lot of different perspectives. But it is also just like a bunch of kids on a crime spree. You know, what it boils down to is a bunch of kids on a crime spree. So if you're completely unfamiliar, between October of 2008 and August of 2009, the alleged members of the Bling Ring collectively stole more than $3 million in jewelry and high-end designer goods from a number of young Hollywood stars. It's not a long period of time. It's less than a year.
Yeah, that's the kind of time that if I was to be taking a gap year, it would have been then.
Absolutely
I should have
true.
done this.
Yes.
But I went straight to uni. Foolish. Wasted my time.
We could have been in the Bling Ring. They were our age too. So could have just met some like-minded peers. Had
Do
an
you think
adventure.
of this as like a victimless crime?
They do.
Because like it's all the sort of stuff that celebrities just get given as swag at events and stuff. Is that kind of the idea?
I'll definitely talk about that. I
Okay.
think I don't have a heap of sympathy for the celebrities,
Right.
obviously. But I don't think it's victimless. And I'll talk about
Right.
that for sure.
You don't have any celebrity sympathy. Is that because you believe they're all part of that pizza cult
Yes.
where they drink baby's blood and whatnot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all lizard
it's
people.
hard to have sympathy for lizard people, isn't
That's
it?
right. That's right. But, we're all God's creatures. So
You got a big heart.
I've got a big heart.
Oh,
trying
are
to work
lizard
on that.
people still God's creatures? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because God, everyone's God's creatures, right? If you're
Yeah.
a creature.
You're gods.
Or is there a second, cozy?
Oh my
is
God, yes.
Earth like a cozy game for God?
Well,
Right.
I
And
mean,
there's a-
like, why do you think people enjoy playing The Sims? You just get to play God.
Oh my God, it's so true.
Yeah.
So God, we might just be in a simulation.
I
a
hope so.
sim.
Yeah.
Is that what a coincidence? Anyway, sorry, you were about to start the report. This is my-
So yeah, I'd love to do, because I love to do these kind of heist stories, and I love to do like a reveal at the end of who they all are. But it's kind of the main crux of the story is who they are. So here are the main characters.
Okay.
We have Rachel Lee, the alleged ringleader, lived in Calabasas with her mum and complained of living in the smallest house in the neighbourhood and struggled to fit in the very image-focused society that was LA. She went to Calabasas High School, was kicked out of there for petty theft, and then went to this, I think it was called Indian Hills High School, and it keeps being referred to as like an alternative school, and several different resources referred to it as a school that was for like kids who were struggling in mainstream education, or like, yeah, it was, I couldn't quite get my head around exactly what it was, but it was an alternative school.
Has every kid been kicked out of other schools for petty
Yeah,
theft?
maybe. So then, yeah, they're like, well, these kids just don't cope well with the like structure of school, so we're just going to make school a bit more cash. I have no idea.
So the thieves weren't necessarily rich kids.
No. No, they
She
weren't.
was saying she lived in the smallest house, probably only like a 5-bedroom.
Yeah, so embarrassing. Then we have Nick Prugo. He met Rachel when he moved to the same high school as her, and they bonded over their interest in fashion and social media. I'll talk a bit more about Nick a bit later, as well as Alexis Nears, who was in the same friendship circle as Rachel at school, was a model and on the rise in the LA social scene. Then we had Diana Tomeo, who was a promising student but was caught with Rachel for petty theft, in the years prior. And Courtney Ames, who met Rachel Lee at Calabasas High School before Lee was expelled and became friends with the rest of the group through Rachel. So that's kind of, you don't hear as much from Diana and Courtney. Spoiler, they're only involved in one each, I think.
Ugh.
The main culprits are Rachel and Nick.
Because it sounds like Rachel sort of connects everyone. They all know each other sort of through.
Yep. And there's a Netflix series that I watched. It came out in 2022. It's called The Real Bling Ring, Hollywood Heist. And they spend a lot of the first episode. So it's like 3 50-minute episodes, and probably 40 minutes of the first episode is giving backstories on Alexis and Nick. And they're both interviewed. None of the others agreed to talk. And Alexis's upbringing seems pretty unusual. Her dad was a director of photography on Friends, and her mum was a lingerie model in the 80s. So she did kind of grow up in like the showbiz kind of world. I think while her parents were together, was in like a very nice house, nice area. She sort of grew up a bit more in it. But her parents did divorce, and she and her sister had a rough few years because their mum didn't have a lot of income. And I think at one stage, like her mum's interviewed as well in the documentary, and she seems just wild. Like,
really?
Well, she was a model in the 80s. She was a model since she was about 14 years old. She was off partying with rock stars. She was doing all sorts of things that 14-year-olds should not be doing, and ended up just basically encouraging her daughters to do the same.
Oh.
So they had a rough few years until their mother joined a new church, and their mum became really into the idea of The Secret.
Okay.
Oh.
Do you remember The Secret?
Yeah, it's the secret is if you want something, you get it.
Yeah, she shows her vision board on the documentary as well. It was all about vision boards and sort of basically what we would now call manifesting. We just have different language for The Secret now. But yeah,
I watched that DVD. When I was working at the supermarket, someone gave it to me, and I like a burnt copy of it. The main thing I remember was there was a guy talking about it when he was a kid or something, and he saw a red bike and he wanted that red bike. And then the next day he was given a red bike.
Whoa. That's crazy.
And that's The Secret.
I think that's the secret. It's the secret of, getting stuff because you really want it.
One time when I was 17, I was in a band, and I was starting to play a bit of guitar in the band. So I really wanted an electric left-handed guitar for my birthday. And then I got one for my birthday.
Really?
Yeah. That's the secret.
There's no way my parents could have known that.
Well,
Yeah, you're in on the secret.
I'll answer this. How about when I was 7 years old and I wanted Thunderbird's Tracy Island, and I didn't get it, and I really wanted it.
Well,
Wow.
no, you know what the
What's the
secret
secret?
person would say?
Yeah.
You didn't want it enough.
Yeah.
True.
You didn't want it enough.
I
Maybe
know.
you
You
got
didn't
something
focus on it
else
enough.
that ended up, putting you on your life journey. Do you ever think about that?
I feel like this ruined my life. And yes, I've been on eBay to look at Tracy Island, and I'm like, I've got to know where to put it in the house, but I'd love it.
How big is it?
It's pretty big. It's like a
Okay.
command, like it's the headquarters of the Thunderbird. So it's like, full command center style thing.
Well, you don't need a bed.
Yeah, you trying to? I'll just sleep at Tracy Island.
I'm sleeping at Tracy's tonight. Anyway, so yeah, her mum's interviewed, and she's an interesting character. And Alexis's friend Tess had a difficult home life, ended up moving in with Alexis's family, becoming basically an unofficially adopted sister. And Alexis's mother encouraged Alexis and Tess to do some modelling like she'd done when she was young. And the two teenage girls go off to modelling jobs with fake IDs, and in hindsight end up in scenarios that young girls should not be in, like sharing an 8-ball of coke while being naked background dancers in a Marilyn Manson video.
Okay.
They're like 16, 17.
Eee.
Yeah, and in hindsight, because Alexis is same age as Dave and I, basically, so she's interviewed in the documentary, and she has daughters of her own now, and she's like, we should not have been in those scenarios or
Yeah.
those
Oh,
situations.
she's breaking the cycle.
Yeah.
Because that's like, I thought you were going to say, in fairness, she has got daughters now, and she's encouraging them to do the same.
Yeah. And she's like, I want my girls to have that same party lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was,
So Marilyn Manson, we need you to release a new song. But is he in trouble?
oh,
It'd be weird
yeah, I
if he's in
reckon.
trouble, the guy who was hiring underage girls as nude dancers.
I know. So yeah, she had a very, that classic sort of party lifestyle that was very of the time then. I mean, it's been around for a long time, people partying, but it feels very 2008 also. It
peaked
definitely
in
peaked.
2008, yeah.
So then we have,
As culture did.
as culture.
We can
did.
all admit that now.
Yeah, it's weird. It was weird how party culture did peak when you were in your early 20s.
Yeah.
But
And then it just kind of dropped away. No, I'm thinking of like that peak Hollywood, like the Paris Hilton, the Lindsay Lohans, those at the clubs every night. That's what I'm thinking of. Anyway, I'll talk a bit more about Alexis and her family later. And again, we have this perspective, even though she is not as involved in the robberies, we have a lot of her version of events and her perspective because she's spoken about it. Nick is very active in the documentary as well. He talks about living in the poorer, less glamorous suburbs of LA in a one-story house.
One story.
With his sister and parents.
Do they even make those?
I don't just one story. What does that mean? On top of the normal story, obviously, is that what that means?
No,
So
so
you've
like
got obviously every house has got a story, and a one story is the one with 2 stories.
no,
Is that right?
Matt.
Oh,
That's
like
the
level
thing.
one, level one.
Yeah,
You've got the ground floor.
so you got
level
ground
one.
floor, and then one story.
No, Matt, get this. So like imagine the level that you enter the house on, right?
The foyer.
The foyer, there's no
Yeah.
staircase.
How do you get in?
What?
There's no
How do you
stair-
get up to your rooms?
Your room is on that level.
In the foyer.
Yeah.
He's sleeping in a foyer?
No, there's
in-
like
near the
bedrooms
butler's pantry?
bedrooms off the foyer. Or the foyer.
Wait, but that's where my sous chef lives.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have a sous chef.
I don't. I'm sorry.
I know.
Well, who helps the head chef?
There's no head chef.
What?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Then what's the sous chef doing? There's no head chef. They're the head chef by
There's
default.
no staff. It's just
What? Who's
parents
making
and
my-
kids. Parents.
Isn't-
Some parents make food.
Why?
Because they're chefs.
Oh.
Sorry, listeners. There's just no getting through to these affluent boys. But yeah, I have very little sympathy for Nick because he misses the tone all the way through this documentary.
And this is years later as like an adult now.
Yes. Yeah.
But
yeah.
has he been given the villain cut?
Yeah, maybe.
Whatever.
Maybe. No, it feels like Rachel gets the villain cut.
Okay.
I don't know.
And Nick is just a villain.
He's just a villain. I think he was a misunderstood teen, as they all are, and they all blame that on going on a full-on crime spree. So Nick's family moved to a nicer, a wealthier area, and
How many stories?
I'm not sure how many stories that house was, but while other kids were driving their Porsches to school, he was being dropped off in a Honda. So you can only imagine how incredibly difficult his life was and why he had no choice but to turn to a life of crime in order to fit in.
You're right. You're absolutely
Just
right.
say it with me. We need prenup. We need prenup. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't say it with you. All right, let's go again. Ready?
We need prenup.
We need prenup. Yeah.
There's less and less Kanye lyrics I'm willing to recite these days.
Even that one, I feel murky on.
Yeah.
So I bring all this up because that documentary seems to it focuses on making the lives of these kids sound sad and difficult as a way of explaining why they committed crime.
His parents drove a Honda.
I always thought of a Honda as being like quite a fancy car.
That's cool. It's cool.
It's just a car. Who fucking cares? But it's LA's a different world.
It's no Porsche.
It's no Porsche. And I'm not taking away from the struggles of these people. They and they're teenagers and it's their first time experiencing a lot of things, so things seem bigger and are difficult, and I'm not saying they didn't have hard things happening in their lives.
It's all relative.
It is all relative, but it's also like it's not an isolated incident where a kid who's having trouble at home like steals a jumper and gets caught and feels bad and learns from it. They go on an absolute spree and give zero fucks. And they're doing so many drugs and it's not. So it's at that point it's beyond a choice. Like it's beyond a whoopsie daisy. You are actively making the choice to do these things. So I feel less sympathy for them, even though he got dropped off in a Honda and was grappling with his sexuality. Okay.
And one story.
And a one-story house. So embarrassing.
I'm just remembering the Kanye lyric was a Hyundai. But it's hard because he says Hyundai sort of halfway between Honda and Hyundai.
Oh,
so.
yeah, they say Hyundai, don't they? Yeah.
It's a language barrier thing. Yeah.
But I think that's also how it's meant to be pronounced. We say it wrong, but still.
We don't say anything wrong. We're perfect. Okay? Next time you say someone's getting it wrong, it's not us.
Good point. I'm sorry, I totally forgot.
It's not us.
Yeah,
Okay?
Hyundai, that's a famous Australian brand, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay? Let's wrap it up in some aluminium and get on with our days. Put on these Adidas sneakers.
Yes, which I bought on Craig's list.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you, Craig. Craig has a wonderful list of products.
Big fan of Craig. Whatever you want to... Craig's got it.
Craig's got everything on his list.
Sorry, everyone. I'm just munching now on a Graham cracker.
Wow. Thank you, Graham.
Love
Thank
you, Graham.
Graham.
Thank you, Graham. Anyway, so it basically all started with Rachel and Nick, and they seem to be the main culprits in this story. Nick really paints their friendship as him kind of going along with Rachel's headstrong rebellion. Okay. One night while heading home from a party, Nick and Rachel were walking along a street, I think just going back to their car, and Rachel was sort of jokingly checking the doors of parked cars as they passed, just seeing if any were left open, until one of the car doors actually did open.
Oh, you'd be panicking. Oh,
Ah!
God. Oh.
And before Nick knew it, Rachel was going through the glove box and console. She takes a wallet and off they go. And this ended up sort of being a bit of a game they would play quite often. Nick would drive down the street. This time they're like, why walk? Nick would drive along the street and Rachel would be leaning out the passenger side just checking
kidding
doors.
me.
No.
That's the most sus thing you could ever see from your window.
Yeah.
Why is that car traveling 1 meter at a time and then someone's leaning out the window?
So funny to call it a game as well.
It was a fun little game. They're just having a bit of fun. It's harmless fun.
Yeah. It's funny to think of glove boxes as well. At some point, they're obviously invented just to put gloves in.
Yeah.
I never put gloves in there.
Well, that's Death Cab for Cutie said the glove compartment isn't accurately named and everybody knows it.
That is insightful.
Thank you, Death Cab. What should it be called?
Stuff box. Snuff box.
I keep my stuff in there.
I think it should just sort of be called like owner's manual box. Because that's about all that's in there for me. And some Windex wipes.
Oh, yeah. Ute box. Utility box.
Yeah.
Miscellaneous box. Miss box.
There it is.
She was going through the miss box.
Thank you, Miss Box.
Surprisingly, in the wealthy parts of LA, it was quite common to find cars left unlocked. And when they did, they'd take a wallet or cash or whatever else they could. And then one day it escalated. Nick saw a post on MySpace from a guy he'd previously gone to school with, Eden Shizzle.
Is that two people? Ed and Chisel?
Nope, Eden. It's spelled Eden, but it's Eden.
Oh.
Shizzle. Posting about how he was excited to be going to Jamaica for 11 days with his family. Exciting. Heading off on a holiday. A normal thing to put on MySpace. But then Nick and Rachel had an idea. That house is going to be empty. Why not check it out? So they decide to give breaking and entering a try. And they do so, and in the parents' bedroom they find a small, like a lockbox with cash in it. They reckon about $8,000. Eden says it was more like $30,000.
Okay.
Regardless, a lot of cash to just be having around the house.
Yeah.
And not in like a safe, in a box that could just be picked up and taken.
Now it's safe for the thieves.
Yeah. Now they're
It makes you wonder what's in the actual safe, though, isn't it?
yeah.
Is this just like to throw you off the
It's a
scent?
decoy.
Yeah, you go, oh, I've got $30,000, great. But really in the safe, there's the Picasso.
Yeah. And they're like, oh no, $30,000. Dropped that on dinner last night. I don't give a shit.
Carmen's real dad.
Yeah.
No one, history doesn't know. Or does it? I don't know. But if they think they know, they don't, because the real dad is
In that
safe.
in the shizzle safe.
Yeah.
Shizzle.
So they, Nick and Rachel, they split the money. Next day, they went on a shopping spree on Rodeo Drive. Prugo and Lee began checking doors of expensive cars parked in the neighbourhood to see if they were unlocked on almost nightly basis. They would take credit cards found in the cars and go shopping the next day in areas like Melrose Avenue. They would be dressed well, and according to Prugo, merchants never questioned their use of the cards because they're already in sort of designer clothes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we assume you can afford other designer clothes.
Yeah. And why would you question it anyway? It's like they've got a card. I assume it's theirs. Be weird to like just treat every customer with suspicion.
Yeah, especially customers spending tens of thousands of dollars.
I think, sorry, I got to pull you up. You accidentally mispronounced Rodeo Drive.
Did I? Or am I
Yeah.
perfect?
Oh, no, you're perfect. We're perfect.
And thus a pattern formed, right? So they're breaking into cars, taking wallets. They've broken into Eden's family home. But they have a little taste for breaking and entering now. And Nick and Rachel were hanging out one day and thought to themselves, well, this is LA. There are plenty of people here who wouldn't notice some cash or expensive things going missing.
Right.
Okay? Some
Yep.
fancy areas of LA, some high-flying people, some big houses. Scrolling through celebrity gossip sites, Nick saw that Paris Hilton was going to be in Miami for a number of days. Known at the time for a ditzy blonde reputation, Nick and Rachel surmised that she'd be the type to forget to lock a door.
Oh, clever. They're profiling people now.
Yeah. But how do you find a celebrity's house? It's not like you can just Google it, right?
You get one of those maps.
No, you can Google it.
Oh, okay. Because it's probably more accurate than one of those maps.
That's what Nick did, and found a website that basically just listed the addresses of celebrities. I think it was like celebrityaddressesarial.com. Genuinely. And he found...
So funny.
So then he's got the address, so he uses like Google Maps and Google Earth to scope out like the area around it. Because obviously these are like... I mean, it's in Beverly Hills, and it's home to a lot of celebrities and very wealthy people. So it's not as simple as just driving up and parking in Paris's driveway. There are like... These are gated communities with lots of security.
Yeah.
But what you can do is park your car further down the hill and walk along a fire track. So it basically just looks like you're a couple of youths out on a hike and then jump a fence and end up at Paris Hilton's house.
Oh, wow. It's that easy.
It was surprisingly easy for them. They were quite brazen. I mean, they're teenagers. They're quite brazen. They got to the front door and rang the doorbell.
Oh, Nick knocking.
I'm not sure what they planned to do if someone answered.
If Paris answered.
Because they've rung the doorbell to see if anybody's in there, basically.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, what's the plan if somebody opens the door and you're like, hi,
I wanted to talk to you about Jesus.
Yeah, but how the fuck did you get into this gated community?
Right.
Jesus let me in.
It's not Jesus let me in. Jesus guided me here.
Well, yeah, Paris, are you questioning Jesus?
Gaslight.
Well, I think
Go
you need-
straight to gaslighting.
Yeah, I think you need to hear more of what we've got to say. Jesus is really good. You should follow him.
And then
And
Paris is on board.
Jesus is saying he wants us to have that necklace you're wearing.
But yeah, nobody did answer the door, thankfully. So they tried the front door and found it unlocked.
Okay, well, it turned
It's
out
like
that
the-
their assumption about Paris at the time was wrong.
But it's also like how, older people, even older people than us, talk about, back when they were kids, you could leave the front doors unlocked without worrying about it. Maybe celebrities in 2008 were living
Yeah.
an idyllic life.
That's true. They were
And
living.
now these video games making all the kids violent.
Yep.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
breaking into houses. The video games that's doing it.
I've done that. Yep.
Yeah.
This is a pre-Fortnite, pre-Bling Ring time.
Back when I was a kid, we knew we'd go out in the morning and we'd come back when the street lights went on.
They weren't allowed back until the street lights were on.
Yeah.
You come back middle of the day, Mum would be like, "What are you doing here? Get out!"
Yeah, the only
Yeah.
time we'd lock the
I don't
doors when the
like
kids
you.
went out. Don't come back in. But we respected our celebrities back in the day.
Yeah.
I knew where Bert Newton lived. I'd never dream of robbing Bert Newton's house. That would be
You knew where
crazy.
Bert lived?
Yes.
Bloody hell.
Of course, we all did. We all knew where Bert lived.
Of course, you always see Bert driving the streets and you nod respectfully.
That's why he wouldn't try the handle of his car to try and steal from Bert.
No, Bert's a
You
busy
didn't know where
man.
Moira lived, did you, Dave?
Of course we did.
Man, that'd be a place you want to steal from. Hey, she's always there in the gift shop. She'd have so much goodie.
I didn't know who you were talking about. I'm too young.
We're gonna now let me throw you over to Moira in the gift shop. What do you got for us today, Moira? That sort of stuff.
Yeah, fun. Do you think I could do that job?
Yeah.
You have to look a bit dead behind the eyes, but
I don't think you have to. I don't think they start that way.
oh, okay. Then I'd probably
I think that'll come.
Oh no, I'm saying I've already got it.
Oh, okay, great.
So I'm not sure then if I will get the job.
Pretty dead.
But you just have to be dead behind the eyes, but have a really enthusiastic tone.
Great smile.
Wow, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've never seen a mop so good. Stuff like that.
This ladder really is a miracle.
It's that easy. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Think I could do that?
Yes.
I don't have any other skills, so I need some sort of career growth or, plateau.
The suction on this vacuum cleaner is inhuman.
Sorry, inhumane.
Inhumane. It was put together in a sweatshop. I've said the quiet bit out loud.
For just the low price of $49.95 plus postage. Fun stuff like that. I can do it.
Yeah, I think you could.
So anyway, they found Paris Hilton's door unlocked.
Wow.
So they go inside. Nick was a bit of a lookout near the stairs. Well, they say that, but also I'm pretty sure they just and here's the thing too. This is and the documentary talks about this a lot too. This time in the world and in the media was where shows like MTV Cribs were becoming really popular.
It's so funny. I don't know, the lack of any want of privacy for those celebrities.
Yeah.
Exactly. Once you've broken in, this is how you get to my bedroom.
Exactly.
This is where I call it the workbench or whatever they say in every episode of that show.
Previously,
It's where the magic happens.
It's where the magic happens. Previously, it would have just been like this, it was up to your imagination, basically. But now it's like, oh no, I've actually seen inside this person's house. I've seen their closet. I've seen their, media room. I've seen everything.
Yeah, you got the floor plan.
So it made celebrities' homes feel more accessible, which isn't really a good thing, I suppose. So anyway, they go looking through her stuff. They go into Paris's bedroom and they're searching through her belongings, into her closet, which, as you can imagine, is probably bigger than my apartment. Their focus was the closets. They figured this is where they'd find the kinds of things they were interested in: designer clothes, bags, jewelry, cash. And that first night, they managed to steal an estimated $50,000 worth of valuables from Paris Hilton's home.
Wow.
And I say that first night because nothing gets reported because Paris doesn't even notice 50K's worth of stuff missing.
Oh gosh. Is it obviously you can't have, I imagine they're stuffing into a backpack or something, so you can't take too much.
Well, it
Is it
depends
cash
because
and
they're
jewelry?
taking bags.
Oh, right.
They're taking bags, so they just stuff the bags.
Don't bring your own bag. Just grab the Chanel one that's here.
Exactly right.
Oh, that's so clever.
So yeah, they're not taking and also that they're not interested in bigger stuff. Nick even kind of jokes in the documentary. He's like, we wanted the clothes and the jewelry. We weren't there to take her mix master or they're not there for
Grab the flat screen off the wall.
they're not there for that stuff because that doesn't interest them. So this is sort of how
Does Mixmaster Mike live at Paris's house?
Yeah. Yeah, she's got a resident mix master. So the pattern that kind of emerged was they would steal all this stuff and then just use that money to just party. So Rachel wasn't really into the club scene in LA, but Nick very much was because he's really looking to fit in, to be a part of this LA society. So with a fake ID, a shit ton of stolen cash, he was able to dress himself in designer clothes and rub shoulders with influential people. And through the club scene, he became friends with Alexis Nyers, who knew Rachel and who'd been working as a pin-up model for a couple of years despite being underage, like I mentioned before. And I'll come back to that again later too. But basically, Nick is living the high life. He's really living out his dream as a social climber. But that life is very expensive. And so as he burns through money, and presumably Rachel's burnt through her half as well, the pair need to go back to work, as he says in the doco.
Wow.
They'd spend up tens of thousands of dollars in a short period of time and then go back to work.
That's so funny. And the things they're stealing, they're then going and wearing it and rubbing shoulders with them.
Correct.
I feel like I recognize that jacket.
Yeah. Genuinely. The investigators and the lawyers that are interviewed are they're fucking wearing the stolen clothes. You're so dumb. But it's so funny too, I don't like Nick's tone in the documentary, and he at one stage is talking about how that first that first like robbery where you've got all this money is like, it sort of feels like the same rush as getting your first paycheck, you know, where you kind of like, oh, look, I've got this. And he goes, and you know, we had put in hours of work. And I'm like, no. You're making a year's salary in theft in one night. You don't get to say, you know, but I put in the work for it.
Well, what about the research? It's not shit. See, this is the thing that people like you don't understand, Jess. When you're a thief, it's not just that hour of thieving that is where you make your money. You make your money in all the preparation. Your whole life leading up to that moment has been work for that moment. You know, every moment you're thinking about it. So I think you're not seeing the big picture here.
Yeah, you're right.
I think, honestly, if you put an hourly rate on the work that he did to steal that stuff, it'd probably be minimum wage tops.
Yeah, you're right.
So
it's just like getting paid once a year kind of thing. Like you work for a couple of years and then you get 2 years worth of salary and you're like, great, now I can eat. I couldn't that whole time.
Yeah.
It's not a good system,
like
is it?
It's a big lump sum, but no.
You got to make that.
Actually,
You got to make that stretch.
Burning.
Yes. So remember, this is 2008, 2009, peak Paris Hilton party time. So she's out at clubs most nights, which leaves her house empty.
Is she in the is she played in the movie?
She's not in the documentary.
Not in the documentary.
She is in the Bling Ring, yes, the movie.
Someone plays her, or she plays herself.
I can't remember if she is in it, but she did allow them to film in her house.
Oh, that's fun. Was Millsy in it?
Millsy was not in it. This is post Millsy.
This is post Millsy.
Yeah, that was 2003.
Really?
Yeah, I Googled it because I was like, when did that happen? Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Wow.
Dave, do you want to fill the listeners in who might not know about the hot, passionate romance between Millsy and your friend Millsy and Paris Hilton?
So Rob Mills he's a fantastic singer in Australia. He was on Australian Idol, and I think he maybe even came top 3 in one of the early seasons when it was a big deal. A very handsome man, and you just looked it up, so you'd probably remember more. But I believe he famously had a liaison possibly with Paris Hilton.
Yes, there was. I think she was out for Melbourne Cup or something like that, and I think they met there, and then there was a brief. Very brief fling, I think.
The Bling Ring fling.
That's nice. That's nice.
But yeah, he's still like if you see any musical in Melbourne or in Australia, he's starring in it.
He's the lead.
Stars in them all.
Yes, very, 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 very good. Very talented man.
Hot, in demand. He'd be never out of work.
Very nice man.
Yes, so I've only met him a couple of times, but he's very, very nice.
He's lovely.
And very funny too. He was in a short sketch once.
And he's our link to Paris Hilton.
That's right.
6 degrees separation. Don't need the 6, thanks. Hey, keep like 4 of them.
I'm a fan. I'm on the record. I'm a fan.
Me too, but it does blow the mind a little bit that happened, but it was a long time ago. 2008.
That's right. It was big tabloid fodder at the time.
Yeah. So Nick tells the story of approaching the house a second time but I also find it interesting that like Paris lives in like a mansion, and just because she's gone out for the night, the whole house is empty. Like, I would have assumed she would have had staff, but maybe they don't live in. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Or like people coming in and out, maybe because I'm imagining it's a big place.
Yeah,
there's a gardener,
exactly.
that kind of thing. People,
and maybe they're not there in the middle of the night. I understand that, but I would have assumed she'd have like a housekeeper or something. Like there would be live-in staff, but maybe everyone goes home late at night.
Yeah, you'd think because her family is like a hugely wealthy, right?
Yeah.
Her parents are obviously not very paranoid. You'd think they'd have some security or something.
Yeah, and I mean she's in like a community that has security guards, but they've bypassed that. Yeah, I'm not really sure.
I feel like they might have done a review of their security after this.
I think so, yes. Yes.
Yes, true.
But yeah, I am surprised the house is empty. But anyway, they go back a second time, and this time they find that the front door is locked, which is a bummer.
Oh, what?
What would you do, though?
Is this in the same trip? Like she's still in Miami? This is another time?
This is another time.
Okay.
She's just out at a club one night.
I guess you just give up.
You wouldn't check under the doormat to see if there's a key left there?
No. Because that would be
unbelievable if there was.
It would be unbelievable, wouldn't it? It'd be honestly quite silly.
Yeah, like if this happened in a movie, I'd be like, come on.
Yeah. But sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction.
Oh my God.
And there was, in fact, a key under the doormat, which means they've got in this time, but also means they have a key to just come and go as they'd like now.
That's so. Well, they kept the key.
They kept the key.
Didn't get it cut. Just kept it.
Yeah, well.
And went. They'll probably forget that they left a key under there.
Because if you got a key under the mat, you're probably not checking all the time that it's there. You know, it's just an emergency one. Who knows?
Okay, yeah, sure.
These kids don't think things through very much. So between October and December, the group visited Paris's house 4 or 5 more times.
Oh gosh.
Each time taking cash from purses that Paris had obviously taken out clubbing. Because she's out clubbing like most nights. Her purse is filled with cash. And then she just sort of like puts the purse back in the closet. So they're just taking all the cash out of these purses and she's not noticing because she's probably using a different purse next time.
Honestly, yeah. Well, she wouldn't use the same purse out in public twice.
No, when she's being photographed.
It goes in the bin.
And you wouldn't be using the same cash in case someone photographs you and like, didn't you have that $100 bill last night?
Oh, that'd be so mortifying.
It'd be really embarrassing.
I hate being caught with the same $100 bill.
Gosh, they're very distinct looking.
I think I've had a $100 bill 3 times in my life. Always
it does
a gift.
feel like they've figured out this is free money. They've figured out free money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to know, isn't it? Because, like, sometimes it's really fun to have the perfect kind of heist topics are ones where we're either rooting for the crooks or they're so dumb it's really fun to root against them. This is sort of somewhere in between because you're absolutely right that these are millionaires. Paris Hilton's now been robbed 4 times and has not noticed, which means like she has an abundance of stuff that is...
Well, she's got a money bin. She just dives into the money bin.
Right, so it is crazy. It feels victimless in some ways, but they have been interviewed a little bit as well, and it's like this is still their home, and that's a huge violation.
Yeah, it'd be very gross.
So, but I feel conflicted because there's a part of me that's like, for fuck's sake, Paris.
Yes.
How are you not noticing tens of thousands of dollars going missing? But she's obscenely wealthy. Anyway, so Rachel would take clothes, some jewelry. Nick claims one time they found a bag of really high-quality coke and took that, although representatives of Paris Hilton say there were absolutely no drugs in that house.
They say it was low quality at best.
He's kind of like, he's telling the story in the documentary kind of like anybody would tell stories about the sort of dumb stuff you've done as a teenager or a wild night out you had in your 20s or whatever, right? Where you kind of like, yeah, I did this. It was crazy. But he's talking about a crime spree. So I'm like, nah, dude, the tone is different, you know? And he's like, oh, man, the coke was so good. And then I drove us home and we were driving around and then I got pulled over by a cop and the cop didn't realize I was actually really drunk because I'd also had heaps of coke. And that makes you seem sober. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, so they realized that if they started taking more substantial hauls of jewelry and clothes and they sort of emptied that, they never touched the safe because that would be more noticeable.
Right. That's probably a key, though, under the safe.
Probably.
Under the pill.
But they're like, she'd notice it and the jig would be up. They called it going shopping. They would go and just shop from Paris's wardrobe.
Oh, right. So this is while they're at work, stealing from Paris.
Right.
They go shopping. We're going to have a break from work for a bit while we go
shop
shopping.
on your lunch break. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Oh, I've just got to pop to the shop on my lunch break. There's a couple of things I need. I'm out of concealer and $45,000 cash.
It would be a dream thing if you were Paris Hilton size, but I'd be in there going, well, I can't wear that.
Yeah.
I can't wear that.
Yeah.
Like you'd be looking around the group being like, okay, obviously.
I mean, I obviously am Paris Hilton's size, but we're different palettes.
So it makes, exactly.
So I'm sort of like,
if you're the same size and have the same taste, that's great.
Not a lot of colour crossover
am I
for
shopping
us.
here again?
Yeah, I'm a summer.
Yeah.
She's a spring for sure.
All the wrong colours. It washes me out, all of these sequined ball gowns. So you'd think they're like, if we take the big stuff or we take too much, who's going to notice? So you'd think that maybe they would back off and move on. But instead they decide to just get someone else to go do the big job for them so that if they get caught, there'd be no link to Nick and Rachel.
Okay.
Just throwing
Apart
somebody
from
else.
a direct link.
Yeah. Well, they got a friend of a friend.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
there's no link there.
There's no link. How could you possibly put that together? So a friend of Rachel and Nick's, Courtney Ames, She'd joined them at least once on their explorations of Paris Hilton's closet. Courtney worked with a guy called Ray Lopez Jr. I think they worked together at a bar, and he'd been recruited as a reseller of some of the stolen goods. So he was sort of like, he was on the outer circle. Like they were giving him some stuff to sell on, but he hadn't really been involved yet.
Yeah.
So they gave Roy the key to Paris's house, drew him a map, and sent him off to burgle Paris again. And the next morning, it was all over the news because Roy Lopez had taken an estimated $2 million worth of jewelry.
Oh, Roy.
They could have probably just kept doing these smaller burglaries for so long.
Yeah. They just got too ambitious.
I wonder what the tipping point would have been. Obviously, 2 million is crazy. Most people would notice that. But I wonder how far you could push it before.
I would notice if $2 million worth of my stuff was taken because I'd be in negative stuff.
You'd be in negative 2 million.
I'd be in negative like 1.75.
You'd be looking around at the house going, "Oh my god, I used to have walls."
I said I have $250,000 worth.
Yeah,
of stuff.
hang on,
that's not true either.
Jess, when are you going away again? Because I need to come by and steal some shit.
You do know where I live.
Oh, Dave, you've said that a little too openly.
Okay, gosh.
Isn't that wild? Yeah, so they did notice this time, yes. So Paris and the LAPD are now aware of the burglaries, or at least one, but there's probably been more. Her house was now off limits. It's too risky to return.
And no security cameras at Paris Hilton's house?
Nah.
That does shock me.
Yeah. It's 2008. They didn't have them then.
Yeah, no Ring cameras back then.
No one had Ring cameras back then. But they were living in LA. There's hundreds, thousands of other celebrities to choose from. And it's interesting because it was later noted by investigators that it was one of the early examples of social media sites like Facebook and Twitter and news sites like TMZ. Wow, it's generous to call that a news site, being used to track celebrities' whereabouts and using that information to choose when to commit crimes. So they're just like going on Facebook, checking their Twitter feeds, looking at TMZ of who's where and so whose houses are empty. And I have like fairly brief recounts of another few victims. So in early 2009, the gang theorised that the night of the Academy Awards would mean that basically all famous people would be out at Oscars parties because there's so many different parties that all levels and all sort of tiers of celebrity are going to be out somewhere,
and if you ring the bell and they answer, you'd be like, what happened to you, man?
Loser.
Freaking loser.
You couldn't get a single invite to a party. You couldn't get on a single PR list. That's so embarrassing for you.
Really?
Oh, I was going to rob you, but that's just sad. Here, have $10,000.
That's right.
So The Hills was a hugely popular reality show at the time.
Yes.
And Nick says that Rachel really loved the fashion and style of one of the stars, Audrina Patridge. Once again, they found her address online and went to scope it out, and they found the front door locked.
Damn it.
Windows locked.
What?
Side gate unlocked.
Okay.
So they walk around sort of the back of the house. They find a sliding glass door that was fortuitously left unlocked. Patridge had just come back from a trip to Australia. That's where we are.
Really?
Did they speak to Millsy?
I believe she spoke to Millsy, yes.
Wow.
Huge. And her Louis Vuitton suitcase was sitting in that room they'd just entered, still unpacked. She hadn't unpacked it yet.
Terrible butler.
I said
unpacking the
still
suitcase.
unpacked, yet to be unpacked.
Still unpacked.
Still unpacked, no. Yeah, it hasn't been unpacked yet.
Let's unpack this sentence.
I bit my tongue. Sorry, I can't talk.
Sorry about my tongue.
I bit my tongue. Also in that room, boxes and boxes of products and clothing that had been sent to Audrina, with those brands hoping she might wear them on the hills. So Matt's right. A lot of this stuff is like stuff they're given. Plenty of the stuff in Paris Hilton's closets still had tags on it. Like
Right. So like that's why they wouldn't notice it's stolen. It's not even a piece that they've have any attachment to it. Even some of those boxes, they're not even aware what's in them.
She's probably barely opened them.
Yeah.
But they do sometimes sort of accidentally take sentimental stuff too.
They took her dog. We thought this was a free dog.
What? We thought some brand had given you a dog.
Yeah, to go on the hills.
She used to get around with a little dog in a handbag, didn't she?
Paris, yeah.
Very easily stealable dog.
That's
Already
She
in the
always had
bag.
chihuahuas in a dog. Yeah, in a dog. Did she check the bags they were stealing? Like, they should have been checking the bags. Be like, is there a puppy in this? Take the dog out, fill it with clothes.
At the end of the night, she just comes up with a little clutch full of cash and a dog just stashes it away the next night. New bag.
New dog. So they take the whole Louis Vuitton suitcase, still packed. This is a fun line from Wikipedia. They took jewelry, her passport, her laptop computer, and custom fit jeans. Take my passport, sure, but custom fit
Oh,
jeans?
come on. I sat for hours for those.
They were tailored to my buttocks.
Why would they take the passport?
Yeah, that
has no value to them and is going to like alert the celebrity that you've taken shit.
Yeah. And then what do you because like clothes and stuff they're wearing, but still.
Yeah, you can't do anything with that passport.
You can't do anything with a
That's
passport.
just a
And
trophy,
if you're just
yeah.
holding on to it, then that's very incriminating.
Yeah, bad evidence.
Yeah. Total value of their haul from Adrina's house is estimated to have been around $43,000.
Gosh.
So they're in and out, but it's they're taking huge sums of goods.
They're so confident, and probably
Yeah.
you know how some things like 15 years ago isn't that long, and in my head, won't there be security cameras inside? Was that less common back then?
Well, yeah, obviously Paris didn't, or they weren't caught on Paris's, but I will tell you, Audrina did.
Okay.
So she's in the documentary. She talks about she got home at about 1 a.m., went to get something from her suitcase, only to find that it wasn't where she thought she'd left it. She's like, that's weird. Then she went to her closet and found a lot of her jewelry gone and knew that someone had been in her home. But more scary, she didn't know if they were still in her home.
Yeah, that's not nice.
So she talks about how scared she was for her own safety. And I think, yeah, that's worth noting because Nick, like I've been saying, his whole vibe is that he sort of felt like this was a victimless crime because Paris Hilton, for example, was a multimillionaire and didn't notice any of that cash missing. Audrina Patridge was quite famous, but not at Paris Hilton level wealthy, and her house was more modest than Paris's huge mansion. And she'd sort of only been on the scene for a few years at that point. And she's a young woman herself. And
Yeah, that's frightening to
It's
think they
pretty
could be in
scary.
the house. And I will say, last year someone broke into my car, which I stupidly left unlocked out on the street, and they rummaged through my stuff, and I only noticed because I saw a bunch of it in the gutter next to it. And I've got
Yeah.
to say, it's such a violating feeling.
Yeah, it's-
knowing
yeah.
that even if they only take a couple of like things like a first aid kit, or sadly my friend Josh, I had his old Nintendo 64 that I was going to
Yes.
return to him. Very, very sad. But even if they only take nothing, just them being in your personal space, rummaging through your stuff, it does feel really violating.
And a car you can look at and go, okay, they're not still in the car.
Yeah, but if like, honestly, if
She's
you're
in a big house.
especially if you're alone, you'd be like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
it's
are these
late
people
at
still here?
night.
I don't- Yeah,
Have I just walked in and they're still here?
yeah, that's really upsetting.
It's pretty scary. It is quite violating. And yeah, so like I was saying, I don't have a heap of sympathy for like Paris not noticing tens of thousands of dollars go missing, but that violating feeling of somebody being in your home, especially, and they make this point in the documentary as well, that celebrities, their home is really only the safe place for them because especially in LA, but like that, the level of celebrity that we're talking about are followed everywhere they go and have photos.
It's a sanctuary.
Their home is their sanctuary. Yes.
Mm.
And it's important. Everybody needs a sanctuary, even if you are a multi-billionaire. Jeff Bezos
And I
deserves
think-
a sanctuary or 8.
Yep, of course. And I think he'd deserve it even more if he paid his workers fairly. But
Or did anything to like help people. But yeah, okay.
no, I think just store, a huge chunk of the world's wealth for yourself, just to have it.
Yeah.
It's just nice to have.
It's good to have, and you can take it with you. So it's good to just hold on to and hoard.
There's nothing that feels more like a sanctuary than hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yeah.
What a sanctuary. That's
Just
my
a
safe
safety
space.
net. It's just
My
good to have
safe
a
space.
safety net, If you can, it's good to have a little savings account as a safety net in case of
Yes.
emergencies, and that's what he has.
But yeah, you're right. It is funny how you forget that the victims of these crimes are in other ways they're victims.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then you're kind of like, okay, so this one place where I was safe, I'm now not safe, and that feels a bit gross.
And it's so annoying if you have your laptop taken.
Yes.
Oh, God. And your passport, you got to order a new one, get a photo. That's so annoying.
And remember back in these days, like you're getting your laptop. So these days you buy a new laptop, you like log into the cloud or something, they know, you put them next to each other and they go, oh, I've got all the same data now, thank you. I don't know how it works. It's magic.
Yeah.
But back then.
I didn't have magic.
You had to back it up and then you had to transfer it over to a new laptop. It's a lot of effort. It's a real pain in the tush, can I just say? So, pardon my French.
Do you think there'd be any fear having your passport stolen, your like identity theft sort of things as well?
Yeah, maybe, yeah. And here's the thing
Next
too.
thing you know, you've been kidnapped, and you're being forced to perform in some sort of a circus.
Yeah.
On a high wire act. It's a black market circus, and there's no net for your own safety. You know what I mean?
Wow. If your passport was stolen.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty full on.
I don't have great balance.
And obviously we know.
This is a distance for me.
Obviously we know now that these thieves were a couple of teenagers who were, I think, like drunk and high as a kite and harmless.
Probably horny too.
Very horny. Probably.
You know, at that age, probably just raging.
The hormones.
Oh, uncontrollable.
Oh my God. Tell you what, I miss it.
Now you can't feel shit.
I hardly remember what it feels like.
I'm numb.
Yeah. Do you remember what it felt like to have your blood flowing? I don't.
I think my blood's dust at this point.
Yeah.
Gotta get your dust flowing.
I'll get that dust flowing just every now and then. Go,
Yeah.
get it going again. Anyway, but yeah, so we know it's just a couple of teenagers, but if you've realised your house has been robbed, you're like, they're still in the house and they're gigantic men with knives. Like, you get really scared. Anyway, one thing that Rachel and Nick hadn't accounted for was security cameras. Like, we've been baffled hasn't already caught them. Audrina did have security cameras, and she posted the security footage on her own website. She just uploads it to the website.
Monetizing it, clever.
Smart.
See, you come up in reality TV, you know that anything can be monetized.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah, that definitely would have been a plot line in The Hills, right?
Oh, probably, yeah, for sure.
Someone broke into Audrina's house last night.
And it's interesting you say that because plot lines and reality TV shows is going to come up later as well. So it's picked up by news sites, it's picked up by magazines, TMZ, and Nick describes seeing the footage online and feeling panicked. He's like, oh, we're fucked. They're not super identifiable. It's not a beautiful, crisp video, and they're both wearing hats sort of covering their faces. So they must have actually been aware that there were probably cameras there.
And the hats were Paris Hilton's, so everyone's like,
Hang
Paris
on a
Hilton's done it.
But news, and especially gossip, moves very quickly, and soon the news had moved on and the gang were on to the next job. They were back to work.
Yeah, well, I think sometimes when you go through a big stress, the best thing to do is to just get back to work.
Yep.
Absolutely, yep. Get back to work, get back on the horse, and, get back to a sense of normalcy. This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform designed to help you stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out or scaling your business, Squarespace gives you everything you need to claim your domain, showcase your offerings with a professional website, grow your brand, and get paid. All in one place.
Man, I'm loving all of that. With Squarespace's collection of cutting-edge design tools, anyone can build a bespoke online presence that perfectly fits their brand or business. Start with Blueprint AI, Squarespace's AI-enhanced website builder, to get a fully custom website in just a few steps. Using basic information about your industry goals and personality to generate premium quality content and personalized design recommendations. Squarespace also offers a complete library of professionally designed and award-winning website templates with options for every use and category. It's easy and intuitive. No experience required. Which is good because I have none.
Neither do I. I also love that Squarespace gives you everything you need to offer services and get paid all in one place. From consultations to events and experiences, showcase your offerings with a customizable website designed to attract clients and grow your business. Get paid on time with professional on-brand invoices and online payments. They just make it easy.
That's right. So head to squarespace.com/dogoon for a free trial and to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Now at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers, existing and new. we're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on my plan and my home. That's future you peace of mind. And everyone can save on a brand new phone on my plan when you trade in any phone from one of our top brands. That's new phone peace of mind. Because at Verizon, whether you're already a customer or you're just joining us, we got you. Visit Verizon today. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
All right, so they're on to the next job.
Great.
So in April and May of 2009, the OC star Rachel Bilson was burglar. I fucking knew one of you would start singing.
It's such a great song.
It is a good song.
Where were they at this point? Was she finally dropping that cool girl act and giving Seth a chance?
2009. The OC's well
OC's done,
over.
yeah. It was
that's like-
2003.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
was
right.
it?
I remember it was a big deal in year 7 and 8.
There you go,
Marissa's already dead.
What?
But don't worry.
Well,
she
there goes
popped up
my
on Neighbours.
rewatch.
Oh, forgot about that.
Thanks.
But what about...
Oh, well,
what
that
about
might not be true.
Can you remind me about the smear?
Oh, the schmear. So Ryan is from the wrong side of the tracks. He's a bad boy who grew up in a bad situation. And
Yes.
his brother, he's got a good heart, but his brother's dragging him into some bad scenarios, like stealing a car. That's when he gets done. But luckily, a good-hearted lawyer from the other side of the tracks, from the OC, he's doing a bit of pro bono work, gets this case. And for some reason, he thinks, I don't know about this kid. I think we're not. He needs somewhere to live over the weekend. I'll take him in just for the weekend. Okay. As it turns out, this kid Ryan, he doesn't fit in. He's from Chino for God's sake. But he starts to just wriggle his way in to the hearts and minds of Sandy, the lawyer, and his family, including his son Seth. Who is a loner and yearning for a brother or friend. And in the end, he stays long term. The family adopts him. And that's really the deal is sealed when the Jewish father, Sandy, takes in the what do you call a non-Jewish person? The Gentile Ryan, aka Chino, and he teaches him how to schmear a bagel. And that's when you realize, oh my God, this family is truly now united.
That was
Is
beautiful.
this episode 1?
That's beautiful.
I don't know. I haven't seen it in a long time. I remember that to be vaguely the story.
That was genuinely quite impressive.
Yeah. Wow. What a recap. What a recap.
I'd listen to you do a recap podcast. They're big at the moment. It's usually the stars of the show, but I'd listen to you do it.
You don't have to rewatch OC. I'll tell you it from memory.
It just gets all muddled and confused. Anyway, so Rachel Bilson, who, yes, was on the OC.
Wow.
She was burglarized by the groups between 3 and 6 times.
That's a lot of times.
They're like, I don't know.
and they can't remember. She doesn't know.
They were off their faces. So these robberies resulted in the theft of, again, between $130,000 and $300,000 worth of stolen property. They focused on, they liked her fashion. They often targeted people whose clothes they liked and fashion they liked, because then they're like, great, why would I copy them by like trying to buy similar clothes when I can just take those exact clothes? Yeah. And I think that's smart. So they focused on designer bags, but they also took personal sentimental items like her mother's engagement ring. So that's...
Come on.
Yeah.
They're not very clever.
They don't know what they're taking. They're probably just taking jewelry, but yeah, obviously in that is going to be not just gifted stuff, it's going to be...
I thought Summer would have had that labelled. Sentimental mum ring.
Yeah, you should label that stuff. Mum ring, please don't steal.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. The Bilson burglaries yielded so much in the way of clothes and accessories that members of the group tried to relieve themselves of some of it by selling it at the Venice Beach boardwalk, where they were able to make a few $1,000s.
Why bother?
Still, that's a lot of money to make. Like on the street, if someone's like, "Do you want to buy this ring?" I'm like, "What is that? $5?"
Yeah,
I'm not paying hundreds of or
along
thousands.
Venice boardwalk. Yeah, I'm not I'm not spending a lot of money on that merchandise.
Now they've somehow figured out a way of getting in the back door to a retail career.
Yeah, they actually are working now.
Yeah, they've had to get the permit to set up their little stall and
Just take it to an op shop. Donate it. If they just are like, we've got too much stuff now.
too much stuff and we don't want it. They want to make money off it. Why would you donate something that's worth, $1,000 when you could make
They're making
$1,000?
hundreds of thousands of dollars in an hour. Why are they then going, now we're going to do a few full days of work at the beach
Well, see,
where
Matt-
we're going to have so many people. Now we're spreading out the evidence into the community and we're selling it face to face with the people who will be able to identify us.
And that's why you're not a multi-billionaire because you just don't have that grind set.
Yeah, you're afraid of hard work, mate.
You're afraid
Come
of
on.
hard
That's
work. Okay?
Pull this
Yeah,
over
you're
up.
like, oh, they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why do they need more? Well, that's why you don't have more. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
That's why
true.
you don't have more.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? You should be ashamed of yourself.
You're right. I mean, you're right. Of course you're right.
You're out there making hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
And you could be making upwards of $1,000 more and you won't do it.
But also while slowly incriminating yourself.
Yeah.
And getting lots and lots of different people who could ID you.
Ethics out the window.
And saying, see this? I stole this from Rachel Bilson's house last night.
See this? It's got Rachel Bilson written on it. That could be anybody's.
My phone number's on the receipt in case you need to contact me.
And my home address and my full name. And my social security number. So next up, in July of 2009, the group targeted the home of Orlando Bloom. Not for his stuff, but for that of his then-girlfriend, Miranda Kerr, Australian.
Oh, we got an Aussie in there.
Yes, we've been mentioned twice.
That's right, from Gunnedah.
Dave, do you know if she ever dated Millsy?
I don't know.
I'm going to
Gotta be a
Google
chance.
Miranda Kerr and Millsy. I reckon there'd be something that they are and that they were at an event.
Obviously not their value, but they'd be a very attractive couple.
I cannot see. No, I don't. There's no immediate photo of them. So
Okay,
Jeez, they were good.
but
They
she
were
was-
good. See, that just means that they were careful.
But she was dating Orlando Bloom, or was she married or engaged to him? I can't remember.
they got married and they have a son together.
Oh, there you go.
And then they have split. I believe she's remarried and he is with Katy Perry now.
She's with the Snapchat guys, isn't
Yeah,
she?
yeah.
The Snapchat billionaire, and he's with Katy Perry. So they've both done very well for themselves.
Yes, they have.
I hope they're all happy.
Well, they all sort of like Miranda Kerr and Katy Perry are very close.
Are they?
Yeah, and
That's
because they're all
lovely.
sort of like co-parents together, and that's very nice. I think that's lovely.
on them.
If that's going to happen in a family dynamic, I'm glad it can be so amicable. I think that's really nice.
That's great.
That's the dream.
yes.
Not me. I plan to be very unamicable.
Make it difficult for everyone, especially yourself.
I'm going to make it really hard on me and people not even involved in my marriage. I'm going to make your life hell.
You're going to ruin my marriage because yours didn't work
Because
out.
I'm moving in with you.
Oh, great. You're still here.
Ah,
Okay. You said it was one night. All right.
I'm in your bed. Dave, I'm too distraught. You have to sleep on the couch. I need the bed. Anyway, so they've gone to Orlando Bloom's home because they like Miranda Kerr's fashion. She's at the time a Victoria's Secret model, so they're assuming she's going to have some really fancy lingerie, some expensive lingerie we can steal, which is a bit gross and pervy, I think.
Yeah.
I don't want other people's lingerie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit
I
strange.
barely want
but
my own.
She'd be.
No one
she
does
wouldn't
that.
be.
I keep trying to give it to people.
Oh.
So much of it would be unworn as well. But it's
Yeah.
like, are they trying to turn that into cash as well?
I think it's just they want to have it themselves.
Yeah.
A lot of the clothes they just want. And
It is funny because a lot of it is for the image, but you're not walking into a club in lingerie.
you aren't.
No, that attitude.
And that's why you'll never make it in LA.
Yeah, you're not prepared to grind or wear lingerie.
You'll never make it in this town that we also don't live in. and couldn't make it in. I'm struggling in Melbourne. So Nick, Alexis, Rachel and Diana, this is where one of the other characters, Diana, comes into it. They cut through a security fence and entered the property, stealing a large amount of high fashion label clothing, Bloom's vintage Rolex watch collection, Louis Vuitton luggage, and artworks, in all totaling nearly $500,000.
Wow.
That's a big haul, probably their biggest yet.
Yeah.
Rachel Lee was planning to move to her father's house in Vegas and wanted to take some of Bloom's art to decorate her new room with. Alexis claims she went there unknowingly. She was very high at the time. I think her story is that she was out and Rachel called. She was out, I think, with Nick, and Rachel called and was like, come meet us here. So they went there, and she was she knew that they'd been doing a bit of breaking and entering, and she was kind of open to it, I guess, and she sort of followed them in. She didn't want to go in, but she followed them in because she didn't want to be left by herself out on the street. Nick, on the other hand, is like, she was not high. She knew exactly where we were. She was excited to be there. And this is in the documentary. They're playing both of their perspectives one after the other, and they're both getting annoyed at each other because the other one's lying and stuff like that. So it's hard to really know, but a lot's going on. So anyway, they've robbed Orlando Bloom. By August, Rachel had moved to Vegas, but felt compelled to return to California for one last ride.
Oh, shit.
The target, the biggest star at the time, Linsday Lohan.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Whoa.
She was Rachel Lee's ultimate fashion icon and biggest conquest. So on the 23rd of August, Rachel, Nick, and Diana broke into Lohan's house and stole approximately $130,000 worth of clothes and jewelry. Once again, though, they were caught on camera, and police and media identified that these robbers were the same people who had been caught on camera robbing Audrina Partridge. So shit is about to hit the fan.
Right. Is this when they're dubbed the Bling Ring?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. It might have been in the media frenzy that's about to happen.
Mm.
So after the footage was all over the news, Alexis made an anonymous phone call to the police, tipping them off that Nick was the man in the surveillance footage.
What? Why?
In the documentary, she explains that she did it because her life's journey is to be truthful.
Really got him.
We might have to put the whole unedited thing out. That's a...
Journey. Talk us through why you find that so funny, Matt. That's so good.
I'm also, Matt's in a hotel and I'm imagining people walking past his room right now being like, what the fuck?
Oh, man. They're calling reception to see if you're okay.
Oh, my God.
Someone's about to do a welfare check on you.
Can we have the sentence again? Because it is an incredible one. She called the police on her friend because
she explained she did it because it's her life's journey to be truthful.
That's so funny.
Wow. Imagine saying that out loud.
Yeah. She might have, because when I wrote that, I was like, I'm paraphrasing here because I couldn't remember the exact wording and I couldn't be bothered going back and finding it in the doco. And now I'm so glad I just paraphrase.
Oh,
'cause-
that's right. You've written the funniest sentence anyone's ever said. And you almost killed Matt Stewart.
That, man, my stomach is sore. Oh.
But here's the thing too, her sister is in the documentary and she said she wishes Alexis had told her she was going to do that because she'd have said not to because she was essentially dobbing on herself.
Yeah, that's right.
She's like, yeah, you weren't involved in all of them, but you were there at least once and you've got a lot of the stolen goods. Like Nick sort of used all these stolen clothes and accessories to kind of buy friendships. So he would turn up at Alexis's house and be like, "Hey, I got this cool stuff. Do you want this?" And so they had a lot of the stolen goods.
Mm-hmm.
So her sister Gabby's like, "Shut the fuck up. How about that?"
Yeah.
But no, she tipped him off. Once they started digging, they're going to connect Alexis to the Orlando Bloom robbery. But Alexis claims she was so heavily intoxicated that she had no idea she was going to Orlando Bloom's house and was basically innocent.
Is that a defense?
That's her sort of
Is
thinking.
that criminal defense?
So police use Facebook and identify that Nick's profile picture matches the surveillance footage. And then they also have a look through his friends list and spot a few other familiar faces. So not only were they using Facebook and social media to commit their crimes, it also ended up undoing them as well because they had also uploaded a lot of pictures of themselves wearing stolen goods.
Wow.
Lots and lots of selfies wearing like a really fancy watch or a necklace or fancy clothes or hats and all the things that they'd stolen, they'd uploaded the pictures to Facebook.
Hey guys, welcome back to my unboxing of the Orlando Bloom watch collection. Thank you so much for liking and subscribe. Here's one I stole last night.
Here's his address. So Nick was arrested and questioned, initially denying any involvement before eventually agreeing to talk. One of the most infuriating parts of the documentary is him talking about he's let out on bail, he goes home. His parents are horrified, obviously. They had no idea any of this was happening, but they're parents, so they're trying to help. So his dad gets in touch with a lawyer that he knows to be a good lawyer. But Nick says, and I quote, "I didn't want some old pot-bellied lawyer, even if he was good. I wanted someone who looked flashy. It was more about the look for me."
Nick.
That's so funny.
Nick. And is that Nick being like, I was 19, I was an idiot? Or is he still like, that was a smart choice? Because that's the dumbest thing.
I think he's grown a little bit and sees that he was young and dumb and fame obsessed and wanted attention and wanted status and stuff like that. And it could just be like his way of talking. I'm not really sure, but he does not nail the tone of. At no stage does he seem all that remorseful.
Yeah.
And that annoyed me a bit. Anyway, so he instead gets his own flashy lawyer. From Wikipedia, he confessed to police without first getting a plea deal, telling them about crimes they were not even aware had been committed.
No. Was it a real lawyer?
Yeah. He also told the police the Ring was still researching other potential targets, among them Miley Cyrus, Zac Efron, Ashley Tisdale, Hilary Duff, and Vanessa Hudgens. It's very of the time,
That's
isn't
amazing.
it? So he thought he had a plea deal. He thought he had immunity because his flashy lawyer had shaken hands on it, but didn't have anything in writing. And other attorneys in the documentary are like, there was never a plan to give Nick immunity.
Oh.
So the flashy lawyer, was not great. So 2 weeks.
But he had abs.
Oh, but he was hot. Had a beautiful suit. And he didn't have a pot belly. Disgusting.
Yeah.
What?
2 weeks after Nick's confession, search warrants for other Ring participants were issued by the LAPD. So this is a crazy little side adventure that we go on here. Alexis and her family were the subject of a reality show called Pretty Wild that documented, this is the description, the lives of sisters Alexis Nears and Gabby Nears, along with their now estranged, unofficially adopted sister Tess Taylor, as they make their way into the Hollywood social scene. They'd been approached by the TV network E and had filmed a pilot, which was fine, but the producers were a bit like, what's the story of this show going to be?
Where's the drama?
They're like, these wild party kids, they're like 17, 18, 19. They're like, smoking in the hot tub and their mum's like, you girls are crazy. And but they're like, I'm just not really sure exactly what this is going to be. The producers are interviewed and they're like, Alexis was like, she stood out. She was sort of the star. She was going to be the Kim Kardashian. you know. And but they're like, what's the story? What's the plot we're going on? Then their star gets arrested for involvement in the Bling Ring, and the producers go, well, there's our story.
We got it.
So the show, which only lasted a season, partly chronicles her trial. Incredibly, the camera crews weren't there when police arrived to arrest Alexis. So once she was released on bail, they recreated the arrest on camera to use in the reality show.
Wow.
With like actors as cops, or did they get the real cops?
No,
They're
just,
like, yeah, we'll play along.
It was just a producer, and they sort of fake like somebody saying, turn those cameras off, so that they have an excuse for not having much of it, but they had that. And then the reality TV camera crews are in the courtroom during the trial and stuff.
Oh, that's real. That's not reenacted.
No, and so then that's garnering its own attention that she's turning up to court with a reality TV crew with her, and that's not really a good look.
The judge is going to love that.
Yeah. So the entire trial's followed by the reality crew. Alexis was interviewed by Vanity Fair, and she was so excited because Vanity Fair was like, you know, it's a big publication. It's exciting to be in that. And
it's got vanity in the title.
It's got vanity.
What they're all about.
And even though it seems insane to speak to the press during an active trial, she thought it would win her some public favour and help to make it clear that she was not the face or the ringleader of the Bling Ring. In a surprise to absolutely no one other than Alexis, it had the opposite effect. Like, she hated the way that she was described in the article, in that I think the title of the article was something like the defendant wore Louboutins or something like that, and it describes her outfit as she's wearing 6-inch Louboutin heels. Louboutins a very expensive shoe brand.
Oh my God, I thought you were mispronouncing Louis Vuitton. That is so funny.
No, Louboutins. Christian Louboutins.
Oh,
they're the ones with
Jess
the red
losing her
soles of the
mind.
shoe. Those are Louboutins.
Right. Oh yeah.
And she's crying, and that they use the footage from the reality TV show, and she's crying, going, I was wearing brown kitten heels. And she calls the journalist and like is crying and yelling at her for how she represented her, and the mum is going, you're a liar, into the phone. Like, it's
to the journalist.
To the journalist.
Can we see this footage? That sounds
absolutely you can. Yes.
Wild.
It's in the documentary. It's crazy.
You're a liar.
Meanwhile, no, don't start again, Matt. Meanwhile, Nick is loving the attention, right? He's going on TV panel and news shows and doing interviews without the okay from his flashy lawyer. He was calling paparazzi on himself and wearing Orlando Bloom's clothes in paparazzi photos.
Oh my gosh. Wearing Orlando Bloom's clothes is wild. Like, it's like his official Lord of the Rings jacket that says Orlando Bloom on the back.
Like he's just
sitting on his director's chair with Bloom.
Yeah.
Everything, it's just
you fucking
all
idiot.
labeled.
He's very fame hungry. He's kind of loving the attention. He's loving being famous. That's what he wanted the entire time. He talks about, like, as a kid he was doing a little bit of acting, but it wasn't even about acting. He didn't really give a shit about acting. He just wanted to be famous. So he's living his dream while he's undergoing criminal trial.
Oh dear.
So meanwhile, Rachel Lee was taken into custody as she was at her father's house in Vegas. Police reported that she calmly asked them hypothetical questions about how it might help her if she did have information, and shared that information with police. Their report stated that she believed she had removed all incriminating evidence from her home. So she's like, they can't get me on anything. However, police found a coat identified as belonging to Linsday Lohan and topless pictures of Hilton that had been left in an unlocked safe in Hilton's home.
Oh.
At that point, Lee was reported to have instantly turned hysterical, acting as though she was suddenly sick and gagging as though she was going to vomit.
Is that footage in the doco?
That is not in the doco. Rachel Lee is not interviewed in the documentary, and so that's why a lot of this has been on Nick and Alexis's story, because that's kind of all we have.
Right.
After learning that Orlando Bloom was willing to testify against her, Alexis agreed to plead no contest to residential burglary. She was sentenced on May 10, 2010 to a jail term of 180 days with an additional 3 years of probation, and was ordered to pay $600,000 worth of restitution to Orlando Bloom. She was released after serving 30 days.
Really? 1 month in prison?
Because I think she'd probably already done some. in the lead up to
Okay,
it, but
yeah.
still. Not long.
Where'd she get the cash from? Like, would she have had 600 grand?
Nah, I don't think so. No, the reality TV show had paid them $100,000 each, so that would have been
Right.
what she had.
So she's still in debt from that?
Not sure.
Or how does that work?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
So she was released. Not long after her release, she was arrested again for possession of heroin, which violated her parole. Instead of facing more prison time, she was allowed to complete 1 year of residential treatment at a luxury Malibu rehab, which she did.
Oh, so she's got cash then, obviously.
No, she was actually – so probably because of the high-profile nature of the case, the owner of that rehab was at the trial and let her live there and get help. So while I don't have a lot of sympathy for most of them, I am aware that she was very young and obviously had a very – very different upbringing to me and just like not an ideal upbringing, and obviously had substance abuse issues, and it was a tough time for her. Apparently she's been sober ever since and is a lot better off. And that is a nice silver lining here too, because these criminals are all teenagers. It seems like all of them have copped the consequences and turned their lives around.
Oh, that's
and
good.
that feels good.
Yeah, that's good.
Nick Prugo ended up pleading no contest to the burglaries of Partridge and Lohan and was sentenced to 2 years in prison, which, again, he didn't serve 2 years. Rachel Lee, the alleged ringleader, also pleaded no contest to the burglary of over $25,000 worth of valuables from Audrina Partridge's home. Get this name, Judge Larry Fiddler. Judge Fiddler,
no.
Jesus.
Judge Fiddler.
He dismissed a charge of conspiracy to commit burglary as well as 2 counts filed against her for recovery for receiving stolen property. He had also previously dismissed charges against her involving the Lohan burglary. So she's really only charged with stealing from Audrina Partridge. She was sentenced to 4 years in prison. In March 2013, after serving 1 year and 4 months, she was released on parole.
So she copped it the most.
Yeah. The others who participated in maybe one burglary each were also sentenced. Diana Tomeo was sentenced for 3 years of probation as well as 60 days of community service for her involvement in the Linsday Lohan burglary. I think it was the Lohan burglary. It doesn't say which one it was, but I think that's the only one she was at. That she helped them gain access because she was quite small. She fit through a dog door. And that's just a fun little treat there.
Every heist team needs one of those.
Yeah,
right?
we have Dave, obviously.
Ocean's 11 had that. There was the guy who was like a gymnast or a circus performer, and he could fit in boxes and stuff.
He was a contortionist.
Oh, yeah. That's ideal.
So we have Dave for that. We have you for reaching high shelves, and I just flash people to distract them.
/ general violence.
General violence, yes.
Yeah.
So we've just got to hire one person to do the thieving.
Easy.
Yeah.
So according to Vulture, this is just an interesting and kind of fucked thing about Diana. She was also an unauthorized immigrant and was initially threatened with deportation by the police to get her to cooperate.
Oh.
Just a bit gross too, isn't it? Courtney Ames was sentenced in 2012 to 3 years of probation and 2 months of community service, and Roy Lopez Jr. was sentenced in 2012 after pleading no contest to stealing over $2 million worth of jewellery from Paris Hilton. He was given 3 years of probation and credited for 100 days he'd already served in jail. So none of them face like really, really long-term jail time, which they, if everything came up against them, it definitely could have, but none of them served for huge long periods of time. So this whole report I've done today has been based on reports of the time and the 2022 documentary on Netflix, which only speaks to Alexis and Nick and pads a lot with their individual backstories and Alexis's reality TV show, which is a delight to watch, but less about the actual robberies.
Yeah.
And the reason we really mostly have their perspective is because the others didn't talk to the media. The others have kind of, especially Roy, Courtney, and Diana, they've just sort of dropped off the face of the earth. They're just living regular lives now. Rachel, the ringleader, was very quiet until the year after the Netflix doco. She appeared in a documentary called The Ringleader, The Case of the Bling Ring, and shared her perspective. I tried to watch it for balance, but I couldn't get it on any streamers, so I read a lot of articles talking about it, and it seemed like it wouldn't have necessarily changed the narrative too much of today's story.
Okay.
It goes into a lot more detail about what was going on for her in her life at that time and events and factors that led to this sort of behaviour. But quite frankly, in the Netflix series, Alexis and Nick tell different versions and accuse each other of lying all the time. So it becomes quite murky anyway. And we're going back a while too. And they were teenagers and they were on a lot of drugs and alcohol at the time. So I think your memory can be pretty unreliable anyway. But I guess, like I said, the silver lining is that all of the people involved face the consequences. It sounds like they've all moved on to better and more mentally healthy things. There was I can't remember what year the film was, the Bling Ring, 2011. So only while this was kind of still happening.
Who played the parts?
Well, Emma Watson was in it. Her character was based on Alexis. They changed the names and stuff. There's probably not, it's not a huge high profile cast, but Emma Watson was a big draw card and it was a Sofia Coppola film too. But yeah, it wasn't great.
It says he was based on The Suspects Were Louboutins by Nancy Jo Sales. You're a liar! You're a liar! I want to see that footage. That's so funny.
So yeah, it's based on an article based on the story, so it's loosely based, but yes, they do actually get to they filmed it in Paris Hilton's house.
Wow.
And a lot of the court proceedings were kind of slowed up, and like I was saying, they could have been given much harsher sentences, but it all became really murky because the detective investigating the case became a consultant on Sofia Coppola's film and ended up agreeing also to play himself in the film. So he plays a police detective arresting them and stuff. And it was just this big conflict of interest.
That's weird.
And so then a lot of some of the extra charges and stuff just ended up getting dropped.
Ah.
Very strange. The American legal system. But yeah, so there you go. So that is basically the story of the Bling Ring and how a bunch of coked up teenagers stole a bunch of stuff from LA celebrities.
Fascinating stuff.
Wild tale. And I'm so glad that Alexis had a life's journey.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded that was a change in her life's journey. It doesn't feel like that was always her life's journey.
Yeah, no, it feels like that was something she came to later.
Truth.
Yeah, it's truth is at the
Yep.
absolute basis of her journey. Yes. Dave's looking up the Wikipedia page of Pretty Wild, the reality TV show, and I want to see if it's available to watch anywhere because far out. The bits that they use in the documentary are very entertaining stuff.
Yeah. So, Matt, thank you so much for joining us this week. You've got a gig
It's been an absolute pleasure.
You've got a gig to get to. You're in Mildura right now on the Comedy Festival Roadshow, so we
Yes.
wish you all the best.
You're in Mildura, a beautiful
Mildura.
part of the
Dave's never left the affluent east, has he?
Is that honestly
He's-
how I said it?
lives in a bubble.
Is that how I said it?
a beautiful part.
I have an injured tongue, okay? You are laughing at an injured man. You're laughing. You're kicking a man while he's down, okay? I was just trying to enjoy a sausage, and I've ruined my tongue forever.
Kicking a man in the tongue.
Is that a crime to enjoy a sausage?
A succulent Australian sausage?
Thanks so much for having us, guys. Can you really give the patrons my love today?
We will.
Oh yeah, they'll feel
Thank
it.
you.
We'll pass that
Thank
on.
you so much.
In an almost weird way, we'll do it.
Yeah, it'll be. We'll make them
Appreciate it.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
And as we say goodbye to our bearded friend, we say hello to our unbearded friendship.
Wow. But people have long accused me of being your beard.
It's true. And you're doing a terrible job. You married someone else.
So did you.
I know.
I thought my job here was done.
Terrible job. Now, Matt's gone off to do his gig in Mildura, and we are here for our favourite section of the show. Some people have obviously skipped through the report to hear this is everybody's favourite section of the show.
Yeah.
And this is our Patreon section where we dedicate a little bit of time to people who support the show, make the show happen. If you sign up in our Patreon, what kind of rewards can you get, Jess?
You can get 4 bonus episodes per month.
That's right.
Every single Sunday, unless it's a month that has 5 Sundays. We are putting out bonus content. That is bonus reports, a D&D campaign, a movie club, and something else.
Exactly. A quiz, a chat, a Q&A.
A game.
A Matt Remembers.
It can be anything. Bonus episodes, you get first access to tickets to live shows and discounts to tickets to live shows. You get access to the Facebook group, which is the friendliest corner of the internet.
Yes.
And you get to vote on a bunch of the topics as well, which is very exciting. You get to basically be in charge of what we talk about.
Was this one voted for?
This one was
topic?
free choice.
Ah, good one.
Which I actually forgot to check if I was in fact on free choice. But I'm pretty confident I was.
I think you are.
Great. So yeah, that one was just one that I've had sitting in the back pocket for a while. Like, I'd like to look into that a bit more.
Yeah.
And so I did.
Bloody good stuff.
Isn't that thrilling?
Another thing that people can do is sign up. It's very thrilling, absolutely, as I move on quickly. The people can sign up to the fact, quote, or question section of the show, which I believe has a jingle that goes something like this.
Fact, quote, or question.
Now, this is the section where people can write into the show with a fact, a quote, a question, a brag, a suggestion, a recipe.
Yep. A game.
A confession.
A confession.
Yeah. Brag. Oh, we've already said brag, but we love them so much. We don't get that many brags, but we love to celebrate your wins.
Yeah, I love a brag because I think, well, probably a lot of cultures, but especially in Australian culture, we don't allow people to brag.
Yeah, we
or
love
like
it.
just celebrating something good that happened to you is seen as a brag. Bragging and acknowledging something nice are not the same thing.
No, that's right. So if you've got a promotion, if you've gone on a great holiday, if you've recently gotten engaged or something,
if you've graduated,
isn't that fun? It's
great.
nice.
If
Just
you finished
nice
a video
moment.
game,
yes.
I don't care.
Good one.
No, I used to do when I did radio, weekend arvos, it was through the pandemic, so people weren't doing much, you know. So I had a segment every weekend called Small Victories, and people would call in and tell me their really, really small victories, and I would celebrate it like they would just got married.
Wild
I'd
for 'em.
play like celebratory music, and I'd be like, "You put on pants today." You're incredible. You didn't have to. You're not leaving the house. And you chose to put on pants. You're crushing it. So, you know, any victories, the small victories, they will take it.
And these people that are writing with their victories, their facts, quotes, or questions, whatever they are, they give themselves a nickname.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jess, do you want me to read these out?
Please.
I say, having remembered, I've forgotten my glasses, but I'm going to go for
do you want me to do it?
Hey, no, I've just got the
Make the font.
Zoom up to 200%. Is that the tallest, the most you can go for? Yeah, 200. Okay.
That's so big, though. Surely you can read that now.
We'll see.
I'm concerned about it.
No, we absolutely can. I absolutely can read this. So people give themselves a nickname, and first one comes from Shazza, who's given themselves the title of resident chemist. In brackets, not the pharmacy kind, the Walter White kind.
Oh, Shazza.
Very, very interesting.
You're crazy.
And Shazza has given us a question this week. And like Matt, in his tradition, I have not read ahead. I'm reading these as I read these, so let's have a go.
Fantastic.
And the question is, hey team, I've been listening to the pod since 2019 and caught up a few months ago. Congratulations.
Well done.
In that time, I've started and finished uni, getting my bachelor's degree in applied chemistry. In all that time, I don't think I've ever heard a joke with a punchline. I would love to know what your favourite joke is. Mine is, in brackets, sorry it's a longer one, Matt.
A joke with a punchline. You've never heard a joke with a punchline?
Shazza, that's brutal stuff, I gotta tell you.
Oh, but it means you've never heard a joke.
I think it's more like a classic style, what do you call blah blah, punchline. So I think. I haven't read ahead.
Or do you think it's a typo and it's without? Anyway, keep going. Because that's baffling. That has confused me greatly.
In all that time, I don't think I've ever heard a joke with a punchline, question mark. I'd love to know what your favourite joke is.
Okay.
And this is, we always ask people to answer their own question, and Shazza has written this one to us. There are 4 people on a plane. A school kid, the pilot, the smartest man in the world, and a priest. The plane starts to malfunction and everybody has to jump off, but there are only 3 parachutes available.
Uh-oh.
The pilot quickly grabs one and jumps out.
Coward.
Come on, you
Go
can get
down
down
with
with
your
ship.
ship.
Come on. The smartest man in the world grabs a bag and yells, "The world needs me," as he jumps out. The priest looks and says to the school kid and says, "You go, young man. My time has come." The school kid then replies, "It's okay, priest. The smartest man in the world took my school bag. That's funny. Dumb joke, I know, but still a good laugh. Love you all. Keep doing what you're doing. Shazza, that's a funny bit.
It's a great bit.
Gosh, I mean, one of the reasons I'm really bad at remembering jokes like this style of street joke. So that's one of the reasons that maybe you haven't said any on this show.
That's so confusing. Yeah, is that what it means? You haven't heard a joke with a punchline on our show?
Yeah, I think
that
that's
is brutal.
I know.
But also,
I listened to every episode. I haven't laughed once.
This is the thing too. So it's like when I started doing stand-up and my dad would tell people, Jess doesn't tell jokes. She tells stories. And I was like, you know the bits in those stories that you're laughing at? Those are jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the set up punchline stand-up exists all that much anymore.
No, that would be very rare.
And if it does, it's fucking tedious.
Yeah.
So that's pretty funny. I saw one the other day. I could have sworn I saved it on TikTok and I didn't, but it made me laugh. I think it was like, what do you call an Italian man in sandals?
Italian man in sandals. What do you call them?
Filippi Filoppi.
That's really good.
That's a bit of fun.
Oh, man. Oh, I just can't think of any.
I know. It's like, it's one of those things that it's when you put on the spot and off the top of your head, it's hard to come up with them.
I'm so sorry.
You just Googled jokes, didn't you?
I Googled because I was like, Billy Connolly tells great jokes like that. He can. I know his top 50 Billy Connolly jokes, celebration of his birthday in 2023 from The Scotsman, number 1. Okay, yeah. Before you judge a man, walk a mile in his shoes. After that, who cares? He's a mile away, and you've got his shoes.
Classic. But would you say that's a punchline?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
I think, especially at our live shows, sometimes people think we have accidentally said something funny. That's happened several times in the last couple of years where we've made a joke and somebody in the audience has exclaimed or commented or just said out loud something to the effect of like, that was, I don't know if you know this, but that had a secret funny meaning. Yeah. And we're like, we know.
Yeah.
We did do that on purpose.
Most of the time, that's what we were doing.
Most of the time.
Sometimes I will just say something silly.
Okay.
Accidentally.
But a lot of the time, I have actually thought about what's funny. It is a large part, dare I say, the biggest part of this job. That's a good joke, though. I do like that one. He's taking the school bag. Not so smart, was he?
Yeah. Is that why it's, like, I was wondering why they're the smartest man in the world. Like, for the setup. Like, do they need to be?
Yes.
Could they just be anyone? It's just a funny bit that someone's jumped out of a plane with a school bag. Love that, Shazza. I do love that joke.
You could replace smartest man in the world with Donald Trump, and that would be a funny joke.
Yeah.
Because he'd be like, the world needs me.
Here we go. Matt's not here, and you're going to fill the vacuum.
That's just something he would say, and it would be pretty funny that he took a school bag instead.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's funny. That's comedy, baby.
And here's the thing: next time someone says, "Do you know any jokes?" and I'll think, I think I do, but I won't remember it. Thanks, Shazza. Our next one, I think, got two.
The world needs me.
Thank you, Shazza. And finally, a next fact quote question comes from Amber O, who's given themselves the title of The Amber.
The Amber.
Love
That's
it.
good.
Amber's a nice name. You don't hear it too often.
Amber. Yeah.
And The Amber's given us a fact. Here it is. A fact for you is that last block I attended the live streams of your shows at Stupid Old Studios all the way from Western Washington State, USA. Oh my gosh. After buying the tickets, but before the shows, I was so excited that I had an anxiety dream about being late to an in-person show. But you three were late too, so you were behind me in line. Maybe get a better system so you don't have to wait in line for your own shows. Just a friendly suggestion.
Okay, that's not a bad idea.
Little love heart symbol.
We do line up, yeah, and we are often late.
We're very, very polite.
Well, because we're like, we've probably got time to go to the bar.
I've been before our shows in line at the bar.
Uh-huh.
I'm not, because really I should grab it and go because we've got to start the show, but I'm not going to pull a, hey, don't you know who I am?
Oh,
I'm
will.
doing the show.
I've done it. Get out of my way. I'm a star, I say.
Amber continues. Anyway, so I told Jess that I submitted a topic that made it to the poll for block. It's true. Carl Panzram. And Jess excitedly said she was doing the topic. I said, oh, make sure to talk about the horses burning down the circus. And she panicked and delayed the show because she hadn't even seen that part in her research. So I guess this is also a suggestion. See, there's the tongue. A suggestion to remember to talk about that part of Carl's story when, not if, any of you decide to do him. Anyways, your announced shows for Block at Stupid Old Studios again reminded me of it. Yay. Wow, there you go. Carl Panzram. Have you ever put that one up for the vote or anything like that? I don't think I know the name.
So, no. Not from memory.
It says here, I don't want to give anything away. It says prolific American serial killer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, there you go. I'm reading on here. I got to tell you, they also did some really, really nasty stuff.
So there's a good chance we probably won't do it.
Yeah, but certainly not for a live show, I would be imagining.
Right. Yeah. But I like that even in their dreams, I am poorly prepared.
Yeah, that's right. Even dream you. Oh, thank you so much to both Amber O and Shazza there.
Good on you, Amber and Shaz.
Couple of classic names.
Next thing we like to do is give shout-outs to a few people as well. Hang on while I open it because I can't do two things at once. So we usually play a bit of a game here too when we shout out these people. Should we say which celebrity they rob?
Oh, that's a good one.
Is that good?
Love it.
For a second, I forgot the topic, and it was I've lived this topic for the last few days.
And we just spoke about it
minutes ago.
Yeah.
I think maybe I need a coffee. So, what? How would you like to do this?
Should we go one for one?
Sure. I'm going to get a celebrity name generator.
Oh, good one. No,
I'm kidding.
Oh, you could.
Oh, that could be pretty funny. Let's see if that
funny.
exists. I just thought that would be funny because we can just come up with our own.
No, but that's why I think it's even better.
But is this is going to make stage names, like fake names.
Random celebrity.
Oh, random celebrities. Hang on. Yeah, okay, great. I've got it.
And they're real people?
Yep.
Oh, great. Okay, how about I'll just read the names and you give me the celebrity.
Great, you got it.
First up, thank you so much for supporting the show. And hello to, from a location unknown to us, we can only assume deep within the Fortress of the Moles, it's Hayley A.
Well, Hayley, hope you like shoes because you have just robbed Sarah Jessica Parker.
Oh my gosh.
Carrie Bradshaw herself.
Would she be wearing Louboutins?
100% Carrie would have had some Louboutins.
Wow.
They're very nice shoes.
Do you have some?
No.
Are they the kind of shoes?
This podcast does okay.
Is that the kind of shoes that's like a week's salary to buy a pair of shoes? Or is it even more than that?
Let's have a look. I've gotten distracted immediately.
I'm fast because I don't know. Like for me, like if you tell a pair of shoes for $500 would be crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like I just got some really nice runners recently, and I was blown away when they said they were $250. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. Oh, runners are so expensive.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, I did go to a shop where they fitted me properly.
Yes.
And they're much nicer.
And they'll last you, but
yeah, that was $250.
Runners are absurd.
Serious?
No, Louboutins would be more in the like $1,200 to $1,500 mark.
Okay, that's heaps.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking on Net-a-Porter.
Oh, okay, great.
So yeah, they ain't cheap, and that's with 15% off.
Okay.
Why would they be 15% off? That's not good. Australia Online Boutique. Let's have a look. They do have men's shoes if you want any. But,
Louboutin?
Yeah.
What are they like? Some like nice brogue style ones,
They
leathery
would
shoes.
Yeah, they would do, wouldn't they? Let's have a look. Yeah, $1,700 for this pair of shoes from their latest season range.
Is incredibly ugly to my eyes.
Yep, they're quite unattractive, but they have the red sole, and that's all that matters.
So they all have red soles.
Yes, and that's what's iconic
signature.
about them. People see the red sole, they know you're wearing Louboutins.
Oh, okay, right.
So yeah, congrats, Hayley.
Hayley, yeah, you've probably got a few pairs there. Hopefully you're the same size as Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah, she's small.
Really?
Oh yeah, all celebrities are tiny.
God, do I have what it takes then?
You're actually too tall to be a celebrity. That's how small they are.
I'd like to thank, next up, also location unknown to us, thank you to Matthew McWilliams.
Well, I know where Matthew is. He's in Emma Thompson's wardrobe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
She'd be stylish.
Yes.
For sure.
Very stylish, very cool woman.
Very cool.
I reckon her home would be beautiful.
I can, yeah, maybe I'm getting like sort of cottagey vibe, but like a very nice one.
I think I'm thinking mid-century modern.
Oh, I could see that too, actually. Yeah.
And not like mega mansion, just like a lovely home, you know?
Maybe like a lovely London apartment.
Yes, I can see that for Emma.
Yeah. Gosh, good on her. Thank you to Location Unknown to us. 3 in a row from the Fortress, potentially. Thank you, Hannah Wilson.
Hannah Wilson, well, I hope you like 90s fashion because you have just burgled Stacey Dash.
Stacey Dash, remind me who that is.
Dion from Clueless.
Oh. There you go.
You still don't know, do you?
No, I've seen Clueless. I need to see Stacey Dash, which one she was. Oh, yes, I'm recognising this face. Oh, there you go. Well, hopefully you're enjoying that 90s fashion.
Surely she'd have like her Clueless costumes. There was some great stuff.
Yeah, actually, yeah. There's some iconic looks in that movie.
Yeah.
Thanks, Hannah. I would also like to thank now this person we know where they live, which sounds more intense than I meant it to.
We know where they live.
From Phoenix, Arizona, it's Jameson Estes.
And they
Or
have...
Estes, maybe.
Estes.
Estes. Probably not Estes. Probably Estes. Jamison Estes.
Nice.
I mean, for someone who's struggling with Estes at the moment,
Yeah.
that's a real setup.
Welcome to my world.
Jamison Estes.
And that Jamison has just actually burglarized the home of Michael Jordan.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, if you find a couple of those NBA rings.
You're set for life.
Oh, my gosh.
But
That'd be pretty hard to sell.
Yeah, very traceable, yes.
Yeah, but yeah, Michael Jordan, he's a very wealthy man.
Yeah.
But
pretty
also
good at basketball, I think.
Yes, but also a very big guy. So you don't want him to be home. You want to be caught by someone who's, 6'8" or something.
He's very tall and like a
Maybe
broad
6'6".
fellow, but I see him as a gentle giant.
Yeah, true.
You know, I'm not particularly tall or scary looking. I look like a cute little Powerpuff Girl. But break into my home,
Yeah.
a world of pain awaits you.
Your life is over.
That's right. I'll kill you.
Yeah, absolutely will. Sorry, I've accidentally closed the tab now.
Do you want me to take over?
No, please. I'm nearly there again. 200%. Zoom in, no glasses. Tongue doesn't work. I'm made for this job.
Everything's going really well.
All right, now I'd like to thank from Goulburn in New South Wales. Thank you to Jane.
Jane has actually broken and entered Heidi Klum's house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a nice house too, I reckon.
Oh, that'd be very nice.
I can imagine. Jane, your email starts with the letter C.
Okay.
This is a way. We are from Goulburn. You probably know who you are, but we never want people to miss their shout out because they're like, "Is that me?" Because you've only given us your first name on the form, obviously, when you filled out. So thank you so much. Next up, I'd like to thank from Amsterdam. Thank you to Alex.
Alex has gone for a celebrity we see less and less of these days, but
They did?
No, Ryan Seacrest.
Ryan Seacrest, yes. But he produces a lot of shows, or didn't he?
He's still around.
Is he still?
I just haven't thought about him for a long time.
No.
And I used to think about Ryan Seacrest a lot.
Yeah, he was big.
Yeah.
He's 50 now.
Really?
There you go. Because he's produced Kardashian shows and stuff like that too, didn't he? Wow, there you go. Ryan Seacrest, and he'd be in an LA mega mansion, you'd think.
100%. He'd be doing very well for himself.
He'd be unbelievable.
And we're happy for Ryan.
Worth every penny.
We wish him well.
Good on you, Ryan. Thank you to now from Liverpool. Thank you to Sam Griffin.
Sam Griffin has actually broken into the house of one of the people that the Bling Ring were planning but didn't get around to.
Oh.
Ashley Tisdale.
Ashley Tisdale.
From High School Musical.
Oh, I do know that person.
I could see your face just like...
I was like, Ashley
Tisdale, yes.
Okay, great. And what kind of things can we expect in the Tisdale closet?
Probably an entire wardrobe of High School Musical costumes. Her character Sharpay was a bit of a fashionista.
Oh, okay. So there'll be some good stuff in there from the era.
There'd be some good stuff from the era, but just hold on to that because fashion is a cycle, you know? It'll come back. So you hold on to it and then you are very fashionable very
true.
soon. Flares
Good
are
one.
back for the 18th time.
Yeah, that's
They were
right.
back when I was 13 and I was like, flares are so cool. And my mum was like, ugh.
Yeah.
I was like, what? She's like, I wore flares when I was your age. And now flares are back.
I'm not a fan, never have been. I think they're very unattractive.
More and more, I'm like, I'm going to get me some fucking flares.
Maybe me too.
Some like activewear flares. Other people make them look cool. Could I? Probably not.
Probably. Ashley Tisdale recently in 2020 and 2021 was a panelist on the reality competition show The Masked Dancer. Did you know that they did that? I know
No.
The Masked Singer was big, but
So how are you supposed to identify who it is? By their dancing?
you can't. Surely you can't, unless they're pulling off like the moonwalk, and you're like, well, that's Michael Jackson or whatever. Like, how many people are tied to a specific
Yeah.
style of dance?
Tell you what, the only person I could identify based entirely on their dancing is my husband.
That'd be so
Because
great.
you'd be watching and I'd be like, okay, so it definitely not on the beat. There's no sense of rhythm, but fuck, he's going for it. I reckon that's Aiden.
Oh, love it. Thank you to, from a location unknown to us, deep within the fortress, it's Bethany.
More like deep within John Bon Jovi's closets.
Did I ever tell you that my wife didn't know the difference between Bono from U2 and John Bon Jovi? She thought that Bono was like his nickname when he was singing. His name was John Bono Bon Jovi.
Oh, I love that.
Well, one is very American, one's very Irish.
Here's what I thought was going to happen is that, so this came up recently on Amy Poehler's podcast where Quinta Brunson didn't know for a long time. She did not know the difference between John Bon Jovi and Bon Jovi. She was like, I don't get it. And they're like, Bon Jovi's the band. His name is John
It's
Bon
just his name.
Jovi. But she was
She didn't get
so
it.
that's what I thought was going to be the case for your
No,
wife. But
it's
she's
just-
gotten Bono and Bon Jovi.
She was a bit
confused.
like, doesn't really know who you two are.
Okay.
I was like, how's this happening? John Bono.
Because you love you two.
Yeah, I'm playing them all
And
the
Bon
time.
Jovi.
Like, so yeah, she thought it was John Bono Bon Jovi.
I can
Good
see
stuff.
that actually. That's pretty funny, but they are quite different.
Yeah, it's like if you listen to the music, like that's two very different
Yeah.
bands, two different vibes. Bethany, thank you so much. Your email also starts with a C. Am I helping in any way? I appreciate you supporting the show, and good luck. Bon Jovi, because he'd have some specific fashion, because like, what is he, a man in his early 60s now, probably.
He'd have some leather jackets.
But like, yeah, but he has was very cool when he was younger. So
Yeah.
I imagine that there's a mixture of timeless.
he looks pretty good.
Yeah, he looks good. Good on ya, John Bono Bon Jovi. And finally, I would like to thank, from location unknown to us, people have really not wanted to know where they're from this week, but that's
Fair.
okay. Thank you to Heidi.
And Heidi is hiding in Charlie Sheen's closet.
Oh, okay, there'd be a few. I mean, who knows what's in that man's
You'd be finding
closet.
some illicit substances
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, that's
Which, you could resell or just have a really good time.
a rich source to be tapped. And Heidi, your email starts with an H.
Not a C.
So thank you to Heidi, Bethany, Sam, Alex, Jane, Jamison, Hannah, Matthew, and Haley.
Thank you so much. Anything else we need to do?
There's only one thing left to do, and that's to check if anyone is to be inducted into the Triptych Club, which is our Hall of Fame, our Theatre of the Mind, where basically people have been a shout-out level or above, get welcomed, for 3 consecutive years, get welcomed into this clubhouse where Jess always prepares food and drink based
Yep.
on the topic.
Well, I won't if there's no one coming in. So,
You're not going to... I mean, there's already people here.
oh yeah, but like they can just fend for themselves.
Okay, let me just double...
Just order off the menu. Like there's no fucking specials this week. If there's no new people, I'm not putting on a show.
I'm looking at... No, we've got no new inductees this week,
Okay,
I'm
great.
afraid.
So just like order off the menu.
Oh, come on.
We have like we've been doing this for a long time. All of the food that I've prepared before is still available.
That's true.
Jesus Christ, it's just never enough for you people.
It's just never enough.
Mum needs a day off.
Hey, I'm gonna check if I've booked a band this week. Oh my gosh, they've just confirmed. I've landed a big fish.
What?
I was book a band, and even though there's no new inductees, I'm still gonna bring out an absolute superstar.
For what? The freak's already in here.
Yes, they've been
They
here.
don't deserve it.
They
Spit on
deserve-
the freaks.
No, they deserve it,
I'm
and they
spitting on
deserve.
them.
You're never gonna believe who I've booked this week.
What?
It is the Bling Ringo Star.
Oh, wow. Wait,
That's
so is
right.
it just Ringo Starr?
It's just Ringo Star, but I've just tried to jazz it up a little bit there. Not that it
That
needs
was
it.
really confusing.
Sorry.
Because I was like, oh, cool, a band has called themselves the Bling Ringo Starr, but it's actually just Ringo Starr, one of the members of the Beatles, and that's hugely exciting. That's a massive get.
I should have just said Ringo Starr because it's incredible, shouldn't I? Yeah, you're right.
It's so, that's so cool.
Yeah.
What's he going to be performing for us?
A mixture of solo hits and Beatles classics.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Octopus's Garden?
You better believe it. He's going to start and finish with that.
Yes, correct.
Such a great song. But that's it. That's the end of the program. Thank you so much for listening to us all the way through. Don't forget, you can always tell your friends.
Please, we'd love that.
We've got 500 episodes to discover.
Yeah, there's got to be something in there they're interested in. And if there's nothing in 500 episodes, because here's the thing. Lean in real close.
Oh, Lenny.
Not you.
Oh, sorry,
we have done, drinking loudly into the microphone. We have done such a range of topics.
Such a range.
War stories. Dolly Parton, Cher, serial killers, funny heists, all sorts of stuff. If there's nothing in the 500 episodes that your friend would find even vaguely interesting, you need to sit them down and be like, my guy.
My guy.
We need to look at some hobbies, some interests. We got to expand this bubble a little, okay? What are you doing? Just sitting in the corner eating cheese?
What are you doing?
We've done an episode on government cheese.
Yeah, grow up.
Anyway, so you could do that. You can also follow us on social media. Tell your friends about that too. I was literally, I think my brain is breaking. I was about to say my phone number.
Sorry. No, in what context?
Because I went into like radio mode where we used to go, send us a text 0439757555.
That's not your number.
That's the Triple J text line. But so then I just went like, yeah, let us know. 04, and I started to like say my phone number instead of saying @DoGoOnPod on social media. I think we need to stop recording. I'm having a breakdown.
But also, what's your number? You won't give it to me. Give it to me.
No.
Let me know.
No, you can email me on my work email.
Boring.
I wish people could see the face you just pulled. That was great.
That felt like a real, I think you should leave sort of.
Yes, it really did.
I will be back next week with another episode. I'm sure Jess just told you the website, but I zoned out because I was thinking about a phone number the whole time.
DoGoOnPod.com.
But thank you so much for listening. Until then, I'll say goodbye.
Laters. Bye.
Now at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers, existing and new, we're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on My Plan and My Home. That's future you peace of mind. And everyone can save on a brand new phone on My Plan when you trade in any phone from one of our top brands. That's new phone peace of mind. Because at Verizon, whether you're already a customer or you're just joining us, we got you. Visit Verizon today. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Don't forget to sign up to our tour mailing list so we know where in the world you are and we can come and tell you when we're coming there.
Wherever we go, we always hear 6 months later, oh, you should come to Manchester. We were just in Manchester.
We were just there, but this way you'll never miss out. And don't forget to sign up, go to our Instagram, click our link tree. Very, very easy.
It means we know to come to you, and you'll also know that we're coming to you.
Yeah, we'll come to you, you come to us. Very good.
And we give you a spam-free guarantee.